All right. Let's get ready to roll. Oh, crap. I gotta find my dice. Hold on a sec. I'm actually not even joking. I'm not doing a bit. This is legitimate. Like, I need to look around and find the box. Hold on. There we go. I got a new dice set in France. Shout out to, I'm gonna butcher this name. Le D Niche in Udon of all places. And I don't think they'll ever hear this, but you know, whatever. Okay, let's get on the screen, shall we? Hey internet, my name is Todd, and we're gonna be playing some Dungeons and Dragons. If this is your first time here, don't forget to click the button, follow, like, subscribe to all that other stuff, and you can join us live or after the fact on podcasts. So thanks very much. I'm gonna try and keep it succinct. Succinct, which is a very fancy long word for saying short, which is ironic. Anyway, hey, we've got people in the other room. Hey, other people. Hope you're having a great time. Well, not yet. Soon having a good time. How y'all doing?
Good.
Great.
Good night.
Ah, yes. And in a sec we'll meet everybody and go around the horn and everything. Sorry, I've had coffee and my wife is putting my children to bed. Life is sweet. So, it's the little, and all the parents out there are like, yep. Then even the non, people get it. It's all good. Actually, I do want to do, looking forward as we approach the summer. I'm thinking I'm going to talk with Steve and all of you at some point about what we want to do next. Not that this game or campaign is done quite yet, but maybe soon, depending on how you play the dice and decisions. But I would like to consider what's next, and I don't know. And I don't think it'll be D&D from me for a change. I think I'll do something else. And I don't know what Steve wants to do, or Darcy, or anybody else, or Gordon. I got some amazing storytellers. Don't forget to tune in for any time that they're playing, because they're great. And I love playing with everybody as often as I can. So definitely want to keep this party rolling, as it were. I don't have words. But you know, it'd be nice to figure out what's next. I'm even thinking maybe some space opera. I don't know.
That'd be sweet.
I love space. But anyway, so we'll keep an eye on what is next and take suggestions too. So that's news on that front. I had something else I was going to. Oh, and I want to get back to my own family game, because I do play D&D with my kids who are 8 and 11, and it's awesome. And if you get the chance, you should play Imagine games with your kids, because it's really cool and helps them, helps me, and yeah, it's good stuff. So get out there and play some games. They're good in school too. My daughter actually started a D&D club, so yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. You gotta hook the nerds young, man. Nerd them up when they're young, man, before they know better. I don't know. Before the too cool for school kicks in. All right, I'm gonna stop blathering. Let's go around the horn and meet everybody, and we'll dive into tonight's game. Yeah? All right, out of curiosity, if anybody wants to take a recap, you can think about what you want to say, maybe. If anybody wants to volunteer for that. Otherwise, you get to hear me blather on some more. All right, let's start over here with Matt. Which way? Matt. Haha, you didn't know you were next.
On my screen, you're pointing at Steve.
Yep, that's the way it works.
It's all lies.
I'm playing Balin of the clan Iron Eater, a dwarven wizard and craftsman. Hooked up with the party when they saved him from the belly of a red worm, and is offered to help them with their quest. Just killed a big beholder. Didn't get eaten. Very pleased about that. And holding on to his golden dragon stone. Not quite sure when to use it, but also quite enchanted by its shimmering goldness.
I'm going to write down who has those still, because I lost track of that sheet, and it's probably not important at all. Hey, awesome. Thank you. Let's meet Gordon. Who are you playing for tonight?
Hey, Gordon, longtime player. I am playing 2 characters. First one is Rook, who was my original character on Strange Acquaintances and still playing him. And I'm also playing Talthar, Conquest Paladin. So
Nice. Who
They
actually
are-
was your original character way the hell
in
back.
Session 0. Yeah, Session 0.
Yeah, you and Carl. And we miss you, Carl. And Timely can't join us tonight, so unfortunately we're missing a couple people. But hey, we're happy to see them and play with them whenever we get the chance. And look forward to rolling some dice with them again soon. All right. I think I'm pointing at Brandon.
Hola, yes you are. I'm Brandon. I'm playing Eli, who is the half-elf divination wizard, who I think had to process his grandmother's death in a day so far, because it's only been a day.
What stage of grieving is that? You got anger.
Yeah. And he's already had the person that killed her come up to him and say sorry and try to do stuff. So it's been a fun ride. But yeah,
I would like to apologize in advance for the trauma I'm inflicting upon everybody.
But yeah, he's working out his grief by helping out everybody, and we'll see where it goes.
Nice. All right, and Darcy.
Hi everyone, I'm Darcy. You can find me at Darcy Biz, blah blah blah. I'm playing Shu, who is a ranger, sort of ex monster hunter turned pirate turned whatever this is, I guess, probably. They're also a rogue, I should probably remember, because that's like, I think they're 6/6 now, actually, because we hit level
really
12.
even.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing still qualifies as monster hunting, I do have to say.
Yeah, I see. I mean, I got a whole backstory because, of course, I do. I'm that kind of player. I don't need to bore you with it. But anyway, in my brain, they like retire and now they're back and stuff, right? Of course. Pull me back for one last job.
I mean, Shu's been around for a bit. Shu was in our last campaign very briefly, and on the other side, and some of Shu's group got pulled into hell when we did our Avernus game, and Shu and a bunch of the NPCs from that went on to like. I don't know what exactly.
You can decide yourself if it is shared continuity or not. That's the beauty of D&D.
In my view, it definitely is. You had like, who was it? There was Hen who went to hell, but then Hen and somebody else were close. Was it Greg? Am I getting that right?
I think it was actually. Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. It's a good memory.
Yeah. I do. I don't even take notes, but I do. You know, that's a little dig on Gordon because he
my
loves
kind of GMing.
Yeah. Actually,
I take very extensive audio notes.
We do. when I'm cutting things together later, which I don't do very often, but when I'm cutting things together, I get to review and be like, I will admit, I do occasionally watch the last like 2 minutes of the previous episode to remember what the
what was the literal last thing we did.
Yeah, exactly. Where were we? I forget. All right. That brings us down and around to Steve.
I'm still here.
An entire mime show with Steve.
Yeah, I could do that. Well,
I mean, it's the cranky show. You're just acting cranky.
I do want to make a bard that's a mime someday.
You know what? Steve's even wearing a shirt kind of like a mime, you know? White and black stripes.
I will have to say, though, we have a podcast following, and that's not going to work unless we have other people do descriptive video of what he is, the descriptive audio for people on the podcast. I am here for this. I want to be
Brandon can totally help out with that.
Let's
that's
do
Brandon's jam to close caption and audio.
Oh, this is happening. This is happening.
Oh no!
But only when Steve is playing cranky, though, because Gex does talk. Cranky never talks.
Sure.
Anyway, sorry, I cut you off, Steve.
That's okay. I'm used to it. Shot at the GM. No, I'm still here. Gex is still here. Cranky's still there. That's about it.
Okay.
If you don't know, you don't know.
Yeah, you have to watch the backstory. Then we've got Bella.
Hey everybody, I'm Bella. I'm playing Isolde and Miss Frizzle.
Oh, that's right.
She didn't start out to be Miss Frizzle, but it just turned out that way. So what the hell? I'm leaning into it, but yeah, that's Isolde's been with this campaign pretty much not quite the beginning because I missed those early sessions because I was away, but been in here for the long haul.
Absolutely. Like, Isolde knows she came up with Gex and Rook. No, not Rook.
No,
and
Gex.
not Rook. And
not Rook.
And who else did she?
Yeah.
And Carl's character, Dave Tillman, the Turtle. And
Yeah.
I forget
Tillman.
the name of the captain. Who else?
Well, Hilda.
Hilda.
Oh,
Kirby.
yeah.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of like other people that Isolde ran into. Wasn't there Colwald at one point?
Who knows? There's been
That was
so
like
many
one or two
things.
episodes of Darcy.
I did
Oh,
have
yeah.
a kobold for
Oh,
yeah.
did
an
you?
episode. Yeah, I'm
I
pretty sure that was
forgot.
before Isolde, though. Yeah,
I think we could
Yeah,
do a
maybe
whole
not. Maybe I'm
montage
off.
of Darcy characters.
not for this
That would be a
campaign. I
whole
missed
night.
like the first majority of the campaign.
But yes, Isolde
absolutely.
loves or is very close to Gex and trying to vie for his approval over Rook.
Grandpa Gex.
Bastard. No Rook zone.
I love that image. We'll splash that up later. All right. And I am Todd, and I'll be the dungeon
Thanks
master.
to Timely.
Yes. I love it
Emily.
whenever anybody
Emily
makes art
drew
for
that.
our game. But especially Darcy and Timely are both really talented artists. I think we've had a bunch of great artists on here. So we always invite that. Anyway, and I'm the DM, and we're going to dive in. Let's do this. The echoes of the chamber kind of reverberate around you. There's occasional loud thumping sounds above, reverberating through the rocks. Little bits of dust and stone falling down. Nothing that's going to imperil your life, but you get the impression that you're experiencing little earthquakes again and again at irregular intervals, but surprisingly common and more frequent as time goes on. You're in the dungeons deep beneath Tazvarel, but above you, this city is in grave peril. At least one, possibly multiple kraken, several monsters of myth and legend coming and descending upon the city, responding to the beck and call of the beholder, who's been controlling them all with these gems that have been found in these caverns somewhere beneath you. Part of an elaborate shield system for this ancient tomb. You encountered a sphinx last game, standing still in front of it, like stock still. You can easily mistake it for a statue. And then every once in a while, the eyes flick back and forth, taking in those around. In particular, is Frizzle, the fire genasi, and Rook in the room with it, but gazing down the little tunnel that you've excavated out to the rest of you. You are standing at the edge in a room, most of you anyway, outside of that little kind of sphinxuary? I don't know, we'll workshop the name, where the Sphinx is part of the tomb, tethered to it, feeding the magic of this place, ancient magics, containing whatever this tomb was meant to contain, with the very power of its ever-living blood. That creature will never leave this tiny room in which you found it. Or at least, not yet. You also, just a little bit of ways down the tunnel that Isolde is looking down, keeping a close watch, eyes flicking back and forth between the tunnel which descends to the north and the other tunnel through which you crawled through and found a sphinx. That way seems eerily quiet and still. The edges of it rubbed smooth by various creatures that have pressed their way down. Maybe some of those massive snake creatures, the Nagas, the bone Nagas, forever guarding this tomb. Perhaps other beings that this beholder called forth. Rook, in particular, spent some time imprisoned here and has a vague memory of these levels that you're currently on. But what happens below, he has only seen the entrance of. I think at one point, Rook maybe went down there a little ways, only to encounter the baleful eye of the beholder or one of its terrible minions that attempted yet again to kill you, and then find yourself awakening again in a prison cell to do it all over again and again. This, at the beginning, amused the beholder. If nothing, it was definitely saving it on using the priests that it controls to bring you back and torture you like it did so many of your friends, Sir Islick and several of the others that came in with you so long ago now. But after a while, the priests didn't really have to do all that much. Just kind of patch you up and send you on your way. Now, you had the attention of the beholder as you slew it. Arrow through its snout, up through its gaping mouth, into its brain. And it fell. Died. Dead. But you now know it comes back. Its soul fleeing, just in that one instance out of reach, due to timing, which we talked about. Back to inhabit one of the clone bodies prepared by the mage tower that is supposed to guard against this exact terrible creature. Now, part of the puppetry of this maniacal beast. So, you find yourselves here beneath for whatever has brought you to this point in your adventuring career, be it luck, good or bad, a sense of duty, a sense of loyalty, or something else. You are here. A collection of strange acquaintances. I had to fuck up that one. That one, it's the name of the... Take two. A collection of strange acquaintances on this journey. What do you want to do?
So I think there was a choice offered by the Sphinx we could go down kind of the path to the right, or he could actually take us a shorter route.
A choice was offered, and he actually called it the choice, as though that was some kind of destination.
Yeah.
So, and he said specifically, you could go, he could take you to the choice, or you could find your own way beneath to hunt this beholder.
Right. So I guess taking us to the choice would potentially circumvent the beholder itself.
Perhaps. It seems...
Is he willing to talk about it, or is he silent?
Who wants to ask?
Well, I think the only two people in the room are Rook.
You can all
and,
hear it. It's not a quiet beast.
Oh, okay. I think Rook will let me confer with my associates.
Sure. You slip out down the tunnel that Balin opened.
And,
I'll go with him.
and like regroup with everyone else and like get them up to speed on the Sphinx, the fact that he doesn't like undead or reborn or whatever, and that we have a couple of options. Go down that path, go down. I'll tell them that, you guys, I've never really been down that far. Or he's offering us to take us directly to something called the Choice. I don't think it's a bar.
Well, what the Sphinx spoke was true. The Beholder is back.
Half
I'm
price
sure of it.
wings on Thursdays. Great news.
Sorry, just had to. Go ahead.
But I feel like we can get there, but we'll just have to fight it again. And, well, how is it going with the necklace? I think it was.
Althar is a tuning. I don't know how long that takes anymore from when he started.
You're
Right.
probably about a little over halfway. Probably 40-minute mark at this point.
Talthar is still doing his thing.
Well, we know where the creature is. Perhaps just resting and
What is
figuring that
my
out first is the best thing to do now. Is this choice limited time offer?
Are you asking the Sphinx or?
No.
Okay.
I mean, do you guys want to leave it to a coin toss? And then he holds up the coin he uses for augury.
Maybe we should discuss this and maybe find out more about what this choice is. He seemed to indicate that if he takes us there, then we don't even face the Beholder. Maybe. I don't even know what the choice is. Like, it's...
Good luck getting a
Dirty.
straight answer out of the Sphinx. But it sounds
is-
like there's a cost involved, and I wouldn't want to be beholden to a... Perhaps that wasn't the best choice of words. But you understand. Don't want to owe a Sphinx a favor.
Todd?
Yeah.
What's going on? I can't remember last week if I think I asked you about this, but I'm not sure if you answered. What's going on with my brand of castigation?
It's still for a while. It's almost like it was like an itch that you can always sense where the Beholder was, and then when it died, it faded, but it didn't go entirely out. And you were so busy with the distractions of it dying and dealing with the mage, Calrun, who bamfed away at the last second. So it's a bit odd because it faded but did not go out, and now it is flaring again when you used your Blood Hunter knowledge along with Shu to get that ranger know-how that there is this massive aberration creature has come back and reawakened somewhere beneath you. So you actually can sense more or less where it is. It's down that north hall, through that tunnel, but not directly in line with it. It would not be a straight shot. It seems to drift off and a little bit over towards the west.
So
But down.
I'm gonna kind of go off to the side and pull Gex aside and just be like, we don't really need this Sphinx help, but why are we doing this again? What was our point?
Yes, that is a good question, Isolde. Kind of one we've been pondering for a little while. I mean, we left Tazvarel in the first place to do a mission, and so much has happened, I can't even recall if we even completed that mission. I mean, there came a point where all I cared about was getting rid of the not rook doppelganger and finding actual Rook, and now he's here, and I'm comfortable that he's safe to make his own choices at this point.
And I just roll my eyes.
You do realize that Gex still is in Rook form at the moment as well, right?
Yeah.
Actually, I'll get. Isolde knows
Actually-
that it's you. Oh, actually,
Yeah,
hold on.
I
You were
would
gonna
know.
say.
So he's like, there's a reason why he's doing that too, by the way. But it's anyway. We'll reveal that later. Well, Isolde, you haven't known me that long, and I've been in my 60s as long as you have, and my purpose has been to seek adventure and to hopefully find some new purpose beyond just seeking adventure. And certainly we've had some adventures. I mean, I'm wearing an example of that adventure. He refers there to the T-Rex hide, but you might get the sense that he's also referring to the fact that he looks like Rook. So I don't know. I don't see this beholder. Like, what's the point? What's the point?
I don't know. I mean, this adventure, or whatever you've called it, has gotten Elias's grandmother killed. Like,
You know, you're right. And
I
there was a
think he signed up for that.
No, and there was a point where I'd have been happy to abandon any other mission and save that dear old lady. Seemed like she wasn't interested in that, though, at the time. But, I feel like, you know, we've been here together since getting off that ship. But it's almost like I miss you. Like I haven't... you know, we've been side by side the whole time, but somehow I miss you.
Well, you've had your new muse to entertain you.
Oh, you mean this? And he's like points to his current visage.
Hmm. Well, I don't know. Like I said, it's up to you. I'll go where you go. If you say we go after the beholder, we'll go after the beholder, but we don't need to make deals with Sphinx or anybody else. I know where it is. Between me and Shu, we'll find it. In short order.
So Gex snaps his finger and turns back into himself. And says, well, Isolde, you know, you remember that time sitting around the fire on the island? We talked about, I've lost my children, you've lost your parents.
Sadly, yep.
If you want to walk away from all of this, go find adventures on our own, I'll do that with you.
Potentially sacrificing Rook?
Oh, he'll be fine.
Well,
Let's put it this way, Isolde. We'll give them. We'll listen to what they have to say. And if on the balance of it, you think and I think that they'll die without our help, we'll be heroes. We'll stay. But if we think they've either lost interest in going after that beholder or wouldn't survive the encounter, then you and I can decide whether or not to help them. How's that sound?
you and I both know they wouldn't survive.
Hey, I survived. I held on to it for dear life for a couple of minutes. It's not that big a
That
deal.
was pretty damn cool. You riding that like a bull?
Mm. Reminds me of my youth on the farm, actually.
Hmm.
Can't
Well,
say I didn't try that.
let's just play it out. You give me the say so, and I'll work with Shu to track it. Shouldn't be very hard.
Okay, well, let's hear what Rook has to say. It looks like he's gathering everyone together over there.
So Eli's gonna quickly turn to Rook, and basically, because normally he would consult Talthar, but he doesn't want to interrupt Talthar with his attuning, and turn to him and basically ask, like, so what would be the point of going after the Beholder at this point? Because if we have the necklace, and then Talthar attunes to it and calls up the attack, and then we can probably release everyone that's being mind controlled.
There's something more. The whole point of this Sphinx is here to help and keep trapped this dark oracle. And just by the sound of that name, it doesn't sound good. So the Beholder may be looking to free it, and that could be a lot of bad news for everyone.
Okay. Because I'm thinking... So, the Reaper that killed my grandma came back, and I've been talking to it, and he seems pretty pissed. And I imagine that if we were to free everyone else that's under the control of the necklace, they'd probably be pissed at the Beholder as well. And that would also include all the Mage Tower people that he has under his spell. So, in my head, it seems like if once Talthar attunes, then everyone's going to be mad at the Beholder, and I feel like his resources would be pretty limited, and then that would keep the Dark Oracle kind of at bay, right? Because the Beholder might have his hands occupied, or is there something I'm missing?
I agree that we don't necessarily have to chase the Beholder, because I think actually he's going to come after us. He wants me for something. It's why he dragged me down. And also Gex, but Gex was disguised as me. So there's a piece of the puzzle that's kind of missing. I feel like I'm that piece, but I don't know the whole picture. And I think you're right. We should, once Talthar attunes, we should stop the immediate threat. But I feel there's something bigger at stake than all this. You know what I'm saying?
Yep. Just wanted to double check.
Yeah, I don't think we have to chase down this Beholder. Besides it coming after us, I think if we can just stop what it's trying to do, all the other pieces will fall into place.
I have to agree. I'm honestly concerned what we even would do if we did kill it again. It's just coming back. Again. And again. I don't know a solution to that.
Just want to figure out, I came back here to speak with everyone because the Sphinx is offering a shortcut, but I don't know what that is. Like, take us to the choice. We need to kind of understand a little bit more before we decide what path to take.
I mean, I could ask my crystal ball.
Why don't you?
Okay. So...
Just for me personally, I'm not really super trusting of the Sphinx we find in Evil Tomb. You know, he's got a good story, but, you know, in my experience, Sphinx kind of tricky, so...
Well, the Sphinx may speak in riddles, but they do speak truth. It's here to protect something. Which means it's really his problem, not ours.
I'm gonna go ahead and ritual cast divination.
Absolutely. Gonna get you to roll your spellcasting modifier and your proficiency. So this is divination.
Yes.
Ooh, that's the big one.
So 7 plus 5, or proficiency is plus 4, is 11.
You reach out to the mists of time and to the great mysteries. You can ask a single question concerning a specific event, goal, or activity. Has to be resolved within the next 7 days. And depending on how you roll. So, how much was it again?
11.
11.
12, sorry,
12.
7 plus 5.
Okay. I will answer truthfully, although it may not be as clear as it could be. So, what do you want to ask? You can talk to the others to consult before you officially pull the trigger on this too, if you want to.
Yeah, so I'm gonna, like, as he's kind of channeling, I'm gonna consult Gex and Rook, because they're the ones that are most familiar with this, and Isolde, and be like, what do you want to know about this Sphinx? Out of character, just tell me the question you guys want to ask.
You're muted, Gordon.
I think I want to ask, like, I want to know, like, what is the choice that it's referring to? I don't know. Unless someone has a better question.
I would just want to know, maybe not the choice, but what is... Well, yeah, the choice. Like, what is that? Like, where would it send us?
Okay, so should I ask about where it's going to send us or what the choice is?
It's going to send us to the choice, so what is the choice?
Okay, so our final answer is, what is the choice the Sphinx is presenting us?
You concentrate and you're holding this crystal ball in front of you, and you see the mists and the way that your grandmother taught you how to look past them and yet use them. And there's a swirling, and you see several different visions. One of them, you see in your mind that face of the Reaper up here in the globe for a second, almost muted and unable to really tell you much, but it seems a little bit more frantic than you remember it, and then it's gone. A second later, you see a room. It's vaguely rounded room. There's a walkway in. You've just come through a door down these stairs. You turn around and they end in a blank wall. And there are these flickering lights, almost like circular openings, suddenly flicker into place to the left and then to the right, and then above and below. And each one has a meaning to it. In this room, those who have come before decide. You may choose life or death, or a death for life, or neither. And that you come pulling back out at like mid-sentence, back through the tunnel, through the little crystal orb, and and I need you to do a dexterity saving throw, please.
Oh boy. $16.
All right, 16 is enough. So you, in the shock of getting jolted out, you drop the crystal ball that you're holding, but you manage to like deflect it off your knee at the last second, and then it lands more or less without a heavy hit to the stone floor and just kind of rolls off into a corner. And you go and you can pick it up again without any trouble. It doesn't appear damaged, but when you touch it, it is hot to the touch. Not enough to hurt you, but it is. It took you somewhere, and it took a toll. But whether you got the answer you want, I don't know.
So I relate that, like, as it was coming through me as a medium to the rest of the party.
And I'll remind you, you are all connected psychically right now, so you can quite literally replay the experience.
So shall we vote on it? I feel like that's the only way to proceed at this point.
Well, I don't suppose we all have to take the choice, do we?
I had a hunch the choice was going to be somebody had to sacrifice themselves. I had a hunch.
What would you sacrifice yourself for?
My people, my honor, the Dwarven Kingdom.
Okay. Maybe we can get more information from the Sphinx. If someone... He doesn't really like me, to be honest. Something about the crystal seeing the light of day and merging with me, and now I can't die. So anyways, maybe someone else can speak to the Sphinx and get an idea, like, Elias, you now divine this. Maybe you'd be able to speak to him and get a little bit more insight into what this is. So it's a doorways of choices resulting in life and death. But what's the point to it? You want to speak to him?
Well, I feel like I'm being voluntold, so I might as well. And
You don't have to go alone.
Well, you guys can all hear me, plus I'm pretty sure there's a Reaper looking after me right now, so...
Okay.
Eli's gonna kind of scuttle through the hole and come face to face, or face to foot with the Sphinx. Hi there.
There's a long...
Sorry, I'm just finding my voice change button.
You. I'd like to take a look. I said. Well, what is it you want?
So, this choice, what is it for? Because, like, I get we have a choice, but I don't know why I'm making the choice. Or we as a group.
Some make this choice for their own reasons. So for some it's a shortcut, others with a goal, a means to it. I cannot answer why they chose, but I can tell you this. There are many who would choose to return those that need to be returned, and there will be those who would turn to aim those that need to it. So, and there are those who would choose for themselves to never find the end that seeks so many. And there are those who may choose not, or none.
Thank you. And he's just gonna turn around. Well, everybody heard that.
Yeah, everybody heard that.
Because of this. Yeah. So Eli's just gonna give it his best and he's like, I think it has something to do with immortality or resurrection.
Of what?
It sounds
you
like,
choose.
yeah. So it sounds like maybe we kill something, you get immortality, or you sacrifice yourself or someone else and you can resurrect someone. That's what I'm getting from it.
Or neither, and none.
Yeah. Maybe there's a neutral option.
Not to distract from this point too much, but did you say you're watched by a Reaper?
Yeah.
If the Beholder's soul is being brought back again and again, could maybe they help with that?
Well, that's what we're waiting for the necklace for. Because most of the Reapers still have the crystal in their head, but we took this one out. So that's why it's kind of like a dog at this point. But I'm hoping that once we free the rest of them, then that dog becomes like a herd.
Well, I think that seems like a good thing to start with, and maybe it's a little premature to make plans until such a point.
So I think we're just resting for a bit. Heal
Literally
up.
5 more minutes.
Because if a Reaper can take a soul to the beyond, well, it's going to be pretty hard for it to get back, right?
So I
Elias
guess we wait.
goes a little quiet there for a second, and then, after a breath, that's for our podcast listeners. Sorry, descriptive video. Keep going.
So I guess at this point we wait for Talithar and then we take a vote afterwards.
I'm sure a lot of us could use a rest anyway.
So we're taking a short rest, I guess.
I think all of this was kind of narratively a short rest anyway, but yeah, we should finish it or whatever. Yeah,
Absolutely. So, in
not
that,
during a short rest.
so by all means, you can wait the last 5 minutes, and that's that. You would be finished.
Mm-hmm. Do I get anything short? I don't think I really do as a ranger, but I could spend some hit die.
Yeah, I think I'm going to be spending some hit dice.
Yeah, feel free.
Yeah.
Go for it.
How many can we spend?
As many as you like.
Oh, perfect.
We went up a level. That equals magic, yeah?
Let's see. How many hit dice do I have? 6 rogue and 6 ranger.
there you go.
Jesus.
All
We can roll these one at a time, right? I don't have to decide all the hit dice I'm spending. Is that right?
Yeah. You can spend them all at once.
Just making sure that wasn't like a house rule that I'm used to, or
No,
if that's
no.
actually how the game works.
I think
I
I'm
think
pretty
rangers
sure
are.
you can
is
spend as many
rangers
as you
D8
want.
dice? I think rangers are.
3 hit
They don't be
dice.
D10s actually. I should probably double check that.
Okay.
Sorry. I can do this whenever. We don't need to wait on me.
No worries.
Okay, so Talithar is... While people are rolling their hit dice, Talithar is attuning. Anything happening when he's trying to...
I need you to do a wisdom saving throw.
Wisdom
You
saving
can take your
throws.
paladin-y bonus.
I think he will. Okay.
And you actually get Hilda's paladin-y bonus as well.
Really?
Because she is still
Wow.
and she's actually
That's
pretty
really
close
generous. I'll take it. 18.
a couple of things flashing through your mind as you hold this necklace. Little flickers in the light. Somebody lit a torch or has a magical lantern or something. Not everybody has frickin' dark vision, so actually I think most of you do. But you catch these little flickers of light on the variety of gems, and they're various crystals and geodes, like broken shards of this quartz-like crystal, which is largely blue and red with streaks running through it. A little bit of yellow on some of them, especially out towards the wider end, always narrowing down in this darker and darker blue. And when you look at these, as you're kind of holding them and attuning to them and becoming used to like possessing them and controlling them, is the goal. And in that moment, they begin to share with you either things that are current, or perhaps these are things that have happened in the past. Connections between your mind and the creatures that they are attuned to via these red spikes that have been driven into these creatures. For a moment, you see through the eyes of an Oni-like creature, huddled in a cave, shaking, horribly, evisceratedly wounded, clutching at itself and maniacally laughing in its rage. A near mortal wound, and yet it's holding on somewhere. You then flash. You are reaching in your hand, a skeletal fingers and a dark ethereal cloak as you reach in to the chest of this woman. She is screaming. You're in a room, wooden room, ramshackle, some of the furniture tossed aside. A man is busy swinging an axe, not a battle axe, like the kind that would chop wood with. And he's swinging it right through your chest, but you don't feel it. Instead, you reach into the chest of this woman that he's standing in front of, and you pull back, and her soul leaves her body, this ethereal, translucent face. And it just, you pull and discard her to the mists behind you, her soul screaming, and her husband angrily swinging at this creature that it can have no effect on. You see a building crumble beneath your extremely large tentacle-like limb, and another, a game, crushing, devouring, bringing rage and destruction onto these land-clinging, pathetic beasts. You and your kin will destroy them. And there's things flying above you that have always kept the balance. You even see something with these massive wings fly by. You see something with... You see this mage who normally would stand at the watchtower holding you back, instead turn and explode a dock and a ship in front of you, clearing the path for yet more of your kin as you surge up out of the ocean onto the land. In the distance, you can hear annoying little bells ringing. You can see some of the defenders of the city running, and some of them standing and fighting, many of them falling. Talithar is busy. Everyone else looks at Talithar, and an hour has passed, and Talithar is busy rocking in the corner, clutching their knees, and eyes flicking from one side to the other, their mind not currently here, but torn amongst these various connections. And he rocks, and he watches.
Oh, that doesn't look good.
I mean, as Talithar, can I try to gain some sense of control over these creatures? Any of them?
I'm going to need you to do... For this one, I'm going to get you to do an intelligence saving throw.
Would Eli be able to help somehow to somehow give him advantage? Because technically it's like it's in his head, right? And everyone's linked.
That's true.
So-
So Eli...
Would he be able to like
I'm
shelve
going to
some
get
of the
you
burden?
to do an insight check for me.
Okay.
As you kind of look at Talithar and try to assess what's going on, it's not automatically being shared. You can, as you begin to, 23, you ask to enter in. Talithar, you can tell Elias is near you and reaching out. Do you accept?
Yeah.
Elias appears beside these variety of creatures in your mind, watching all of this, taking it in and seeing what you're seeing. How do you want to help Talithar in this moment as this barrage of multicolored visuals are pressing their way in to Talithar's head and overwhelming Talithar's very personality? How do you want to help, Elias?
I think Eli's kind of used to getting visions at this point, so he's just trying to like slow them down and is just giving Talithar like breathing exercises and like a pep talk to try and like
Focus.
yeah, I'm used to this. This is how you get through it, and try to like help him ultimately so he can like command them.
How much of this is like are all of us getting? Like, are we all being sort of bombarded with this, or is it like on our periphery, or do we all not like get it unless we like dive in like Eli is doing?
You're
It
not
makes sense
getting
that
any
Eli
of the
would have the
visuals.
most, right? They're like a conduit for the rest of us. Yeah.
You can see that something is definitely going on with Talithar. They're experiencing something. And then you see Elias walk over and kind of sit down next to them and face to face, I'm assuming, or beside. And they're beginning to connect. And you kind of get the idea you can connect to this if you want to. If Talithar lets you.
Suppose. I don't really know the context. I don't think I will. I have like an idea that I think would be interesting, but I feel like I would need that context for Shu to make that leap. I don't think they don't really
you
know
can
each
see
other.
that Elias bends down and, like, in the same way that he's been staring at the crystal ball, is now staring at Rook and talking to Rook, both in the mind and out loud. So you can definitely see that Elias is coaching Talithar. And both of their eyes are like roll back in their head. Like,
You probably can handle that.
Okay, so I'm going to roll an intelligence saving throw.
and I'm going to say you do get advantage as Elias begins to try to coach you through these overwhelming torrent. All right, first one's a 14.
22.
22. Finally beats it. Threshold was 20. So when you rolled the 18 with all that help, I was like, oh, really? With the breathing is what helps the most. You've done a lot of physical training and, you know, controlling your mind and that kind of thing. That seems a little ethereal. But when Elias points out that focus on breathing, take them one at a time, and then you begin to remember who you are and that you are not these creatures doing these horrible acts. Instead, you are Talithar, paladin of the Mage Tower, guardian of those who can't protect themselves. And over the next couple of minutes, you begin to gain a sense of control. So what do you want to do with that control? Imagine it's almost like screens that you can dive into, hovering ethereally in front of you. Do you want to pick one? You want to pick them all?
I'm going to, I think what I'll do is I'll initially start with, I think, the easiest and see if I can just release the Reapers. So knowing I don't want to just release them all to cause havoc, but if I could start with the Reapers and just release them because they're not supposed to be doing what they're doing,
That's cool. Yeah.
I like it, but I'm going to say this. As you begin to reach out, you're like, okay, Reapers, how bad can this be? And all of a sudden, like, probably close to 80 heads, hooded heads, all stop what they're doing mid-reach, mid-flight, and turn and look at you
That's okay. I'm not afraid.
in the eye.
And I'm not afraid.
All right. And they all seem to be, there's a lot of them. What do you want them to do?
Remember what your true purpose is. This is not it. Break free.
Do you? Do you? Do you release us?
Yes.
We are. Free. And they begin to talk and turn in a voice that is hard to comprehend. It's almost incomprehensible. It is the voice that speaks the order of things. It is the written before words were written, the way that things operate and the way that things will continue to pass. And they begin to whisper, and slowly, one by one, they begin to awaken and disappear from your vision. And so they begin to fade. First one, then 5, then quickly the very crowded space of your mind begins to empty a little bit. Now, I'm not going to make you go one monster at a time, but you have now figured out that you can exert a control on this. I need you to do a Constitution saving throw. You get to add all the bump.
Okay.
Oh, what's your, out of curiosity, what's your current hit point total?
100.
Okay.
Because I rested. Con saving though. Okay. Oh, 12. Terrible roll.
Is that with the bump?
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Ooh.
I rolled a 2.
A toll begins, almost like a bell ringing in the distance, as the feedback, as all of these strings begin to be cut, almost like an elastic that's pulled tight to the point of breaking, and then a little beyond. As you sever each one of these creatures, there's a whip back towards you, and the rest of you in the room begin to see several of these crystals begin to shatter, sending little like razor sharp shards around, just tearing into Talathar's hand. But it's more damaging what's going on beneath that.
The gems in the necklace?
Yeah, the actual necklace. And there
Gotcha.
are a multitude
Before
of
we
them.
get too far,
Yep.
you weren't planning on releasing everything, right? You were planning on, like, getting a lot of them out of there before they got released, in case they just continue to rampage? Yeah. So
Yeah, that's the Reapers are the easy ones to...
right, because they, their job is not to go kill random people. But a Kraken might just keep doing it, right?
Exactly. Yeah, the
So
intent
I just
is...
want to make sure that's established before we release a bunch of stuff and then have to retcon the half.
I took my notes, yes.
Well, it has to
Talathar, I'm going to ask you to write down, you take 41 points of psychic damage.
Ooh, 41 points of psychic damage. Ow!
This necklace requires a certain amount of control, and unfortunately your saves are not quite cutting it. The release, the command and control, you can now do. But when things don't go your way, there's a price to pay.
Okay. I am going to heal myself.
Timely will... Oh, sorry, not Timely.
Oh.
Timely's off, being busy, hopefully doing well. Living her best life. But Hilda reaches over and pumps in some hit points into you as well.
Okay. How much is she?
I'll let
me
you
for?
guys decide that. She's a straight paladin as well, of your same level, so you know how many she's got.
I don't know how much she's used. She used a little bit.
Yeah, those don't come back on a short, right? So
Yeah, it's a long. Let's just say she pumps 10.
Sure.
And then I'll pump 20. So back up to 89. Okay. All right. Let's do this again, guys. So, out of the
And I'm gonna
images
say
that
this
were
time, if you want to,
Yeah.
you can invite everyone in, at least to witness or perhaps to help. You get the idea that you can share access to this and spread the love and the pain.
Yeah, Eli.
I'll say that. I'll say that. Like, it comes at a cost. I've, obviously, like, that hurt. So,
So if you want, everybody can be in that space, all gathered around, both physically and mentally. Kind of, if you make physical contact with this necklace.
I don't think everyone should, but I think maybe some.
Eli's gonna help out.
That's a knock on me, isn't it? Says Graham, the half-orc in the corner. It's fine, I'll watch the door.
Okay, so Eli.
Oh, and Cranky signs something or mimes something. What is Cranky mime in that exact moment? Descriptive video. Or not.
He has just kind of wandered, like, slowly and as sort of, like, unassumingly as possible into where the Sphinx is, and is just kind of standing there staring at it.
And it stares right back.
And one hand is in his, like, satchel, kind of fumbling with something. More like playing with it.
Okay.
Just out of curiosity, the Sphinx obviously speaks a whack ton of languages. Like, what would its native language be if it had one?
I'm gonna have to look that up. I don't. I'm gonna say, what would that be? Celestial?
I don't know. Make something up.
Primordial. It's a very old creature.
Primordial, but it would know, like, pretty much every language, right?
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, probably.
I think Brooke is going to join Talthar and Eli.
Good luck in there. I'd like to keep the magic outside of my head.
For some reason, Shu just does not like that. Oh, I'm sorry. Its main language is Sphinx, according to this one website that I found in 30 seconds. So it's canon now.
Yeah, okay.
I'm also going to say primordial, because that's fun too.
Okay.
But as you say, pretty much anything.
No, okay, he's just going to stand there contemplating some things for a little bit.
Cool. I'm going to get you to do, on Cranky's behalf, persuasion, intimidation, deception, I don't know.
All of the above?
Any and all. What kind of social-ish roll might you choose to make here? I'll let you decide, and it's going to be rolling something too.
I think Constitution, probably.
He's
Communicate via Musk.
Yeah.
He's just observing, but it was a nat 20 on perception, so 24.
It's subtle, but after enough time, the Sphinx shifts itself, just how it's sitting, a little bit. And then you realized it looked at you, and then it kind of turned its attention, even though it's not its head or anything, kind of looked away for a second, and then adjusted its body language, and you realize, oh, it's favoring its left paw. Oh, I am too. It's just a very subtle mirroring that's happening. And Cranky, you get the impression that if you bring your left foot around and lower your shoulder a little bit, something good might happen. Do you want to try it, or just take note that it's mirroring you subconsciously?
Well, if he thinks something good will happen, no, he'll kind of go with it.
Sure. So you adjust, and after a very short amount of time, the Sphinx adjusts, and it's this very subtle body language conversation that starts very slow and low, and then begins to almost become playful over time, like a little nose scratch here, a little flick of a tail there, and then before you know it, I'm gonna say, Cranky, you have, I mean, you're not fluent, you've got the introductory level of the Sphinx language. You can go ahead and write that on the character sheet if you want to. He speaks a little bit of Sphinx. I spent some time there exchanging in high school.
Okay. Okay, he's just going to chill out in there for a little bit and observe.
Yeah, it's not a fast process.
Sort of
All right.
waiting to see if anyone else bothers to come in there.
Out of curiosity, what's Frizzle doing now? Or Isolde?
Frizzle would be listening in. When you said that Primordial was his other language that he spoke, that would make sense to her because she speaks Primordial. So he would just sort of be paying attention to what's going on over there. Isolde is kind of in a bit of a... She's not with the whole group. She's just sort of standing off to the side a little bit, measuring everything. And I want to see if you would allow this. So the way it's written, the brand of castigation says that it's around until I release it. So even though we took a short rest, if I keep the thing like marked, like not used, can I continue to use it, or is it a short, because it comes back on a short rest, but can I
Now,
not
before
mark it off?
Yeah, before the short rest, you reached out with Shu to figure out where this beholder was and discovered that it was somewhere below. And
Yeah.
there are these clone copies.
Okay.
Between the two of you, you've puzzled that out, smelling and sensing the blood and ichor. So you know that it's there, and you know that you're still connected to it. So the question is, do you want to release it? I'm going to say, let's do a concentration save, like, standard wizard concentration, in order to
Like,
relax.
You mean a
and
con
gain...
save?
Yeah, a con save. And it's
Okay.
a concentration check to see if you can both relax your body and actually benefit from the rest, as well as focus on keeping this connecting point alive.
That makes
For
sense.
that
I like that
time.
ruling.
Do I get the bonuses?
Yeah, fully.
So what would the bonuses add up to?
Right, because this is actually a con save from the two paladins. It's going to be a +8 in total, because paladins are broken.
Yeah.
29.
29 without issue, and it's actually the resting your physical body allows you to really kind of pay attention to the tiny ink, and it's almost like hearing a mouse in a wall crawling. And you get you don't know exactly what it's doing, but you can get the sensation that this beholder is moving slightly. Not far, just a little bit. Kind of maybe 30, 40 feet from where it first woke up. And then you sense it go into another kind of turn left and then float a little and then up and then back. And then you hear it bark something and you can't quite make out what the sound is as it's doing something down there out loud. And then you can sense it moving, scurrying, as it were. Beholder float scurry, you know how it is, a little bit further away. But not as, it's only moved maybe 50 feet to 100 feet from where it was originally awoken.
Okay.
I think she actually does, like, sometime during this, like, whole sequence, right? Like, there's a thing happening with Talithar and everyone, and she was not part of that. So I think maybe Shu actually has gone over to Isolde and has sort of asked, like, can you still tell where it is? I mean, I know that it's out there, but I'm not exactly sure where. Is it coming? Do we actually have as much time to rest as we think? You know, that kind of thing.
It's moved. Hasn't gotten far. Might still be hurt, might not. Don't know how that works.
Is it recovering, or is it preparing something new?
It was
hard to say.
barking something at something or somebody or some other creature, but don't know. Couldn't make it out.
More underlings still. Maybe the others can figure out, who it still has under its sway. Yeah. Indirectly, as it may be.
All right. So who's going to be in helping Talithar within that space? Who's volunteering to jump in?
Rook is.
Eli.
I say people with lots of hit points.
Not Eli, but
I'll go with them.
Hilda says, well, I'll help anybody who seems to be in pain. So I'll stay here.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm going in. I got hit points, says Graham.
I think
What's a hit point?
perhaps Frizzle would.
It's
She
got
doesn't
the word
have
hit.
a ton.
Sorry.
So yeah, Frizzle will be a part of it.
All right. Okay. So you enter into this space, and when you touch the crystal studded, it's like the world's most terrifying, awful charm bracelet. But it's long. It's like better part of a meter loop with all these little crystals of variety of sizes. Some of them big, some of them small, and you kind of find a spot to get your hand on there. I'm gonna say your hands can touch like somewhere between 5 or 10 crystals at a time, and there's enough of you that between all of you should be able to touch the majority of the crystals on this necklace. Are you going to be looking for anything in particular? What's your approach going to be? Go for it.
So I think like the first group of the Reapers are gone.
Yeah.
Probably the biggest threat right now are the Kraken.
They have on this necklace, there are these almost surprisingly large and long control crystals. And you kind of touch one and realize, no, that's Hill Giant. That's something slithery, but more like a snake, except it's swimming through rock. And then you touch another, and actually, Balin, you're the one who touches that one. You're like, I know that smell. I've been in that smell. Somebody else touches another large crystal, and with enough time, you begin to narrow down, and then you find a few of the larger crystals that control these kraken.
So I think like Talvar's going to target them next. But instead of just kind of, unlike the Reapers to release them, he wants to control them to move back into the deep sea where they came from.
All
and
right.
leave this place.
Are you doing this by yourself? Is somebody else going to help you? You can pile on if you want, or leave them to it.
Let's do it.
Pile on.
Yeah, I'll help.
Okay.
Frizzle, Balin, Talithar,
Rook.
and Rook. All right.
Yep.
And Eli.
And Eli.
Well, you don't have to target the same creature at the same time, by the way. But if you all want to pile on and do all of it on the big one, you can see what happens. I'm cool with that too.
Well, how many Kraken are there? Like, I think we would just maybe divvy up the
There are
Krakens.
3 massive crystals, and each crystal seems to be able to control multiple of the shards. So there are more than 3 Kraken up there, but the 3 kind of generals, as it were.
Okay. So then maybe it's like 2 per, like maybe Eli and Talithar on one,
Sure.
Rook and Brizzle on another, and then
Sure. Graham and Balin on another.
Graham and Balin on the third. Done.
Sure. So you can either the 2 people to each Kraken get to roll, and an associated skill. Are you persuading? Are you intimidating? Like, are you commanding? Are you going to deceive them and send them? What is it that you're going to roll to get them to go elsewhere?
I think like for the first one, Talithar, he is going to be persuade. You know what? His style is intimidation, so he's going to be intimidating the Kraken to get out.
All right. So I'm going to get, and you said Elias and Talithar?
Elias and Talithar.
So
did Eli
Elias,
give him advantage somehow?
sure. I was going to say you could either both roll the same skill, or you could grant advantage.
Grant
Yeah.
advantage.
Yep.
Although I kind of want to see Elias try to intimidate a Kraken. I think that could be good fun.
Okay. He's going to roll.
All right, Talithar, you get to roll with advantage.
And I'm glad I have advantage.
With a 2. It's like the anti-Gordon.
23. Much better.
That is better. All right. With a 23, I'm getting a crackle on my mic, sorry. With a 23, you issue this command in the language that these monsters understand. That of power, that of a demand. This massive being and all of the ones attached to it, and there's at least 10 more kind of tethered to the general. And you have its attention as it turns its inhuman eye towards you, and it just, the massive slit pupil stares at you and looms large, and you look right back at it. And how do you intimidate this terrifying being?
Kind of look at it unfazed, but I almost kind of project the image of what Talithar stands for, the Mage Towers, and all of them combined, and the strength of it, and the fact that there will be consequences. That it's just not about Taz Farrell. It's about all of us, and kind of project that back.
Absolutely. You say that aloud, and it's like almost like an anime montage in your mind for just a second. Your cape flowing behind you, your armor gleaming. You see the silhouette of the tower behind you, and Elias being like, "Oh yeah, take the pose beside you," and there's this backlit glow from everything, and you see all these little mages kind of in the background behind you, all send that message, and the creature Pray. Another time. And it turns. And all of its flock begins to shift. And above you, you can sense this shift in the through the rocks, a couple of last impacts, and these massive, you can see in your mind these splashes as the creatures begin to crawl back into the sea. You've successfully swayed a general and those they command. All right. Frizzle. Nice job. Frizzle and
Yes.
Who else?
Rook.
Rook. Frizzle and Rook. You have the attention of this massive creature. How do you want to do this?
I will tell you right now, Frizzle doesn't have much. She could assist you on perhaps an intimidation or something.
I think what Rook is going to try to do is in that moment, he's not about intimidation, but in that moment he wants to gain insight into the creatures, the motivations of it, and see what he can do to turn it around, to misdirect it to go away.
Okay, so I'm going to get you to do... Frizzle can do a roll with you or go for advantage. But I'm going to say we need an
Take the
insight
advantage.
check and we
then-
need a deception check. So I'll let you decide who's going to roll what.
Well, I can give you advantage on both of those.
Yeah, then we'll do that.
I'm going to say
No?
you're going to have to pick one or the other then. Either
Oh,
insight
okay.
or deception. The DC will be
Okay.
different if you don't do
I
both.
see.
So if you do both, it's a certain DC. If you do just one of them, it's a different DC that may be more difficult. But you would have advantage. So you can decide what you want to do.
I think then maybe it's deception.
All right, go ahead and roll deception
Advantage.
with advantage.
Okay. And Rook is going to use a knowledge from a past life to help him. He's going to call on
Whispers
Angel
in
to
your ear.
weave.
Oh, Angel. Okay. Absolutely.
Cat's good for the Arcana, but to help
Yeah.
deceive and misdirect, he's going to get Angel to help out.
All right. So it's a weird thing in that moment. Frizzle, someone else is now standing with you next to Rook. You don't know them. What does Angel look like? Or I should say, did.
He was actually a half elf bard, handsome and angelic features, kind of fine features, and kind of a roguish grin, a singer and performer, and kind of a ladies' man. To kind of
And-
like Rook's more silent
And
personality.
even more surprising, in this moment, as you call upon your friend to assist you from beyond the grave, he looks over your shoulder and sees Frizzle. Red hair, fire genasi, fighter, good shape, and looks at her and he's like,
Hello there.
sorry, I had to. He's like, yeah. Hey.
Hello?
Perfect.
All right.
You cut her off?
I'm gonna. Stay focused, and
Right,
stay
right, sorry.
focused.
Sorry.
All right. Okay, I'm gonna roll with advantage, so I'm just gonna roll the 20 plus. This is the first one. Terrible. Better, 18.
18. All right. So as you gain the full attention of this massive sea creature and all their particular followers, the massive eye looks at Rook and Frizzle and Angel, and there's a moment there where you're trying to deceive this. What? How are you trying to deceive this? And I'm keeping in mind that Angel's whispering to you along the way, trying to give you help.
I'm basically going to say it's ultimately a trap. You're coming here for the prey, but then you'll actually be the prey.
Yes,
That's
it's
why
like a lobster
it
trap.
wants you.
Lobster trap.
It's like a lobster trap. It's like you're coming in for the food, the easy food, and you're going to enjoy it, but then you're going to be in the trap, eaten by something bigger. You should go.
We do not trapped. We smash puny traps. We see you. The cave around you shudders. This is not a small earthquake anymore. I need everyone inside the cave to do a dexterity saving throw. As the might of a third of the Kraken begin to target more directly this space, and rocks begin to fall, the section that Balin had carved out to allow access to the Sphinx begins to collapse back in again. How does everybody do on your dexterity saving throw?
Oh, Rook natural 20, 37.
Oh, and keep in mind, if you're in the main room, everybody gets plus frickin' 8 because of 2 paladins. So 37. Holy damn. Jordan is broken. That's
So
awesome.
I got an 18, but do I get the paladin
As
bonus? for
easy
this?
as it is to
Yes,
say
you do.
that paladins are broken, and as small as this room is, you're not always like right next to a paladin.
It's true.
So, you know,
but this is a very small room. So in
you
this
can only
particular
complain about
case-
paladins if you actually follow the rules. If you're giving them extra than they're not worth, then it's on you if you're complaining
That's
about
fair.
them.
Well, isn't it like 10 feet?
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
So I'd say the majority of people are here, at least within range of one of them. But I'm going to actually say in this particular moment, because they're all those who were immediately around the crystals,
Yeah, definitely. they
those
would
are
be,
definitely getting the plus 8. Maybe the people further back aren't getting that. So anyway, let's go down the list because it's interesting to me. Brandon, how'd you do? How did Elias do?
So 15.
15. All right. That's not bad. That's not bad. And Shu?
19 before any kind of auras, which I don't know if would apply to them or
yeah.
not.
No, that's pretty good. Frizzle, how'd you do?
That'd be a 12.
Ooh, that's a little on the low side. And of course, Rook?
37.
I'm going to say, in that moment, Rook, you are so good at getting out of the way of the rocks. And you are in there with Frizzle that in both spaces, you pull her towards you and shift her as well as yourself.
Actually, you know what I'm going to do? Actually, just thematically, Rook is actually going to push her out of the way. And he just kind of goes spectral, like phases, as the rocks just kind of start falling through him.
Nice. All right, so Frizzle, thanks to the shared 37, does not suffer the major consequences here. All right, Talithar?
26. The rocks bounce off him.
Yeah, pretty much. And we've got Isolde herself.
21 for Isolde.
Nice. Gex?
Gex had 28.
Okay. And Cranky?
22.
22. And Balin?
26.
Okay. So 15 was the DC. And I think the only one who really got below that is that Elias and Frizzle.
Eli hit
However-
15.
Oh, you hit 15. Okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's good.
Right.
So everybody except for Frizzle is going to be taking half of this as the rocks come down. But actually, Rook, you did your thing, right?
Well, he's a rogue, so he has evasion. So.
Oh no, I mean to shove Izzle. To
shove
Frizzle.
Frizzle. Yeah, he shoved Frizzle, and then.
Okay, so she will also only take half because of this. So everyone in the space is going to take 11 points of bludgeoning damage. It was originally going to be 23.
Okay, that's already halved. Great.
Yeah, so 11 is halved. And those rogues who succeeded don't take anything. You're just literally sidestepping the nonsense as it rains rocks down upon you. So Gex, nothing, and Rook, nothing.
All right, that might be our cue to get going. Oh.
I think there's like one more that's like Balin and
Balin and Graham. Rocks raining down around them. Oh, I didn't roll for Graham. Hold on. Oh, he takes a clobber and takes all 23, so he takes a big gash on. It's all right. I got a lot of hit point. I'm fine. Let's keep going. Come on, dwarf. Let's do this. So Balin.
So Graham is a what again? Is he like a barbarian, a fighter?
He's a half-orc melee combatant. I don't know what flavor.
Yeah, fair enough.
He's probably not very good at persuading or anything either. Intimidate's probably his only strength if he's got it.
Probably.
I don't know if you got the sheet or not.
I don't.
I
have the sheet in my mind.
So, I'm going to assume he's good at Intimidate because that's part of where I was going with my strategy. I was thinking Balin might roll something like History and try to convince the Krakens like, Taz Farrell has been sieged so many times, never been brought down. You're fighting a hopeless battle. Count the number of times Krakens have won a battle on land. I think it's 0. This is
you're going to roll rhetoric.
Blah blah blah. Just trying to undermine their morale.
I love it. So I'm going to let you roll History while Graham stands there and looks intimidating. So on his behalf, since Timothy's not here to roll, I'll get Balin to roll both. So
Okay.
Matt to roll both. So roll 1 History check and 1 Intimidation check.
So only a 14 on my History.
Okay. And the Intimidate? And I'm going to say you're adding plus 8 to this?
Okay, only a 4 on the die.
Okay.
That's not great.
That is not wonderful. The baleful eyes of the Kraken stare into the both of you, and you get overwhelmed with this sense of almost a primordial anger comes funneling down to you from these creatures with such overwhelming premise and power that in that moment, I'm going to get Balin, you're going to do a, let's say what's your AC?
18.
Actually, no, do an athletics or acrobatics check for me.
21.
That's pretty good. However, it does not beat a 24. So in that moment, when the will of these ancient beasts come powering down the pipe towards you, Balin, you have the sense you're about to kind of be overwhelmed yourself. I'm going to get you to do, let's do an intelligence saving throw as well.
Cool.
Technically, this is slightly out of order.
Anyway,
I'll give the audience this.
Anyway, Eli can help because they're still psychically linked.
Unfortunately, Eli is busy backing their own horse right now. Balin, how's your int?
I do get the paladin bonus though, right? So I should have the 20 in total then.
Nice. Okay, so you have dealt with magic before, and you exert your will, and you remember in this moment that this incredible low vibrating voice is not your own, and you just press it back, and it goes, the will of these creatures to overpower the sense of yourself fades on you, and you come back to yourself with these massive orc or half orc hands clutched around your windpipe, and pressing as Graham has now got you and is beginning to choke you down with a 24. I'm going to say you're going to be taking 12 points of bludgeoning damage, and you currently cannot breathe. So however long you can hold your breath. Everyone else, you see Graham choking Balin.
Yeah, I feel like that's a good opportunity for those of us who are not like psychically doing a acrobatics to sort of run over and see what we can do.
Sure.
I don't know who all it is other than Isolde and Shu.
Sure. Hilda tries to help as well.
That makes sense.
I'm going to get you to roll athletics with advantage.
Yeah, it's just like literally pulling a person off of a person, right? Yeah. All right. You said with advantage? It's a 12 and a 2. I don't know what my strength is. My strength is flat. I don't think I'm trained in athletics. Oh, I am trained in athletics. Haha! So that would be 20.
Ooh. Rollies. It's a tie. Actually, you know what? You have advantage because Hilda's helping you.
Yeah, I did roll with advantage.
Oh, you
did? The first roll was a 12. The second one was 2.
So between the two of you beginning to pry them apart, it's currently at a standstill as this massive half-orc is busy choking this dwarf out and muttering, slathering breath as he's doing it. Graham does not appear to be paying conscious attention to things. His eyes are bloodshot.
Out of your mind. You've been through this before. You fought monsters.
Kill it dead. You're not going to talk him down. I need you to do rollies to see if you can overpower him. It was a tie, so straight shot.
Straight shot? You want to just roll a d20 or do you want me to add to it?
Roll a d20. And I'm not adding anything either. Both you and Hilda are desperately trying to pull them apart, and this is a big half-orc who is busy just crushing the windpipe. I need to do a consultation.
As a Shu, I am like trying to. You already said that I'm not going to get through, and that's fine. I'm not asking for a roll anyway. But like, I'm like talking to Graham. I'm just like, I think there's this element of like when you face down monsters like Shu has, there is this level of like mental health, like that you like learn how to like actually help people who are in that situation. And so like that's where this is. It's actually like very much concerned for Graham, right? Like, we spent a little bit of time with Balin, but I know Graham much better, right? Like we came from that same community that all the NPCs got picked up in. So as much as I don't want Balin to die, I'm actually like focused on Graham. Like you can get past this. I don't know what Graham saw, but like I can imagine, right? Like I know what they were trying to do.
Absolutely. So you're trying to talk Graham down while still prying at his iron hard limbs. Balin, you're going to be taking another 14 points of bludgeoning damage.
I wanted to say, if I get a turn before he damages me again, I want to cast protection from evil on him.
Good luck.
All right. That would be this.
Speak though.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get you to do a concentration check to see if you can squeak it out. And does it have the verbal component? That's a good question.
One actually might not. There's like a really short list that don't, and I know that one stood out to me for some reason back when I used to like look that stuff up.
It does have a
VSM
verbal
components.
Yeah. Okay.
So in this moment, it's a physical thing. He's not letting you speak. So that's why you take this round of damage. But perhaps next round, you'll be able to weaken it enough to get loose. You can still also, in lieu of being able to do that, you could do an acrobatics or athletics check to try and break the hold.
18.
And there's nothing added to that. Oh, you know what? You have advantage because you have friends helping.
Sure.
Okay. Well, that's gonna help. Yeah, 18 is still the best result.
Okay. It does not beat the 19. This half-orc is ripped, and he's got a solid grip. Anybody else want to do anything?
Are Or is Talith
That's
and the
10
others
damage,
still
right?
in the thing, or can we help?
I'm gonna say in this moment, this is their battle, but anyone who didn't go in is able to help. So,
Yeah, so, like,
Isolde
simultaneous,
is
all those
around.
different-
Gex,
Gex.
I think, is available.
I took 10, right, Todd?
That was 14 points of damage before. So you took 12 and then 14. All right, it's Isolde and Gex. You're aware of what's going on. Do you want to do anything, or? The
Well, it's
dwarf
a
is turning
good-
purple.
How far away? What's happening? Who's strangling who again?
And
So
why?
Graham the half-orc has suddenly been overwhelmed by the command of the creature instead of him commanding the creature. And he's busy trying to choke out Balin. And he's doing a good job of it.
Oh, so Balin's getting
Really good
choked.
job.
Okay.
Yeah, Gex will just go over there and like try to separate them, like pulling two kids apart at the playground.
Yeah.
It reminds you of your own
I
kids.
will help.
Yeah, see if that works.
All right, do an opposed athletics check, please. You can use advantage.
I'm gonna say that after like the initial attempts failed, Shu actually tries to grab at the like the necklace and see if they can like interface directly to try and help Graham.
Roger that. That's going to be an acrobatics check on Shu's part, but that'll be
Just
this
to like be able to grab it. Okay,
How
cool.
Well, to
I'm
like,
trying to,
pry
pull it out
it.
of their hand. No, I'm
pry
just trying
it
to
out of
like
their
also
hand.
touch it.
Oh, I see. To like
Yeah.
get into it. Okay.
Yeah, probably what you're suggesting makes more sense, but I didn't think of that, so neither did Shu.
Oh, so she was like, "I'm going in." Okay.
Yeah, exactly. You know,
I need you to do intelligence saving throw, Shrew. You get the plus
Okay.
8 though.
sweet.
30. Holy damn, Gex. All right.
That's what happens
Gex
when you
walks
give
in
him
and breaks
advantage.
this tie and just literally, it is like separating two kids at a playground. You're just like, nope. And you like kick the dwarf back and you kick the half-orc back. And between Gex and Isolde physically separate them at this point. Everybody piles on enough and just divides
Gex, so when
That's
Gex
two
pulls him
fails.
apart, he kind of like he pulls him apart and gives him a bit of a jiggle by the scruff of the neck, and it's like, listen, you're on the same side. Next time you do this, I will force you to wear the same T-shirt at the same time. Pushes them away.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Dad. I mean, Gex.
He
Oh,
goes
you
back. in.
apologizing to him? You're choking me.
Shut up. It's your fault.
You probably started it. Gex will go back and sit down.
All right. And so you've managed to send away one of the Legion. There are two that are still attacking the city. And with that, we're going to take a little break. All right,
Isolde
everybody.
or Frizzle and
Oh, sorry. Yeah?
sorry, Frizzle and Rook weren't able to turn it around.
Unfortunately not. It's to
quite enough.
simply deceive it. The DC was 20, and I think you got an 18. Yeah.
Okay,
So it was
I missed
just
that.
shy. It didn't buy that you were a trap. It believed that it could smash the trap. So it identified you as a threat. So it is now trying to. We'll cut to above the city for a second as 1/3 of the Kraken begin to tear into the area that was once Garrix's shop of magical emporium and just start smashing and digging and prying. It's like they're beginning to tunnel their way in, a little bit like those creatures in the Matrix when the squiddy creatures start going, and all of you get the sense that something is on its way down here now. Anyway,
Okay.
we'll leave it at that for now. You can always try again if you're not all dead. Anyway, we'll take a little break and we'll be back in 10 minutes. See you, folks. Okay, let's come on back. Hey everybody, welcome back. We are back. All right. So, Balin. Well, let's see. Well, you're in the room. Things are happening. What do you want to do? Everybody, not just Balin. But I have a thing for Balin in a minute.
Well, I catch my breath, first of all. Give Graham maybe a bit of an evil look. Like, what the heck, man? Keep it together.
I think Paolo's just going to be looking at everyone like, okay, that didn't go as well for the others who joined us.
And I would, I would maybe try to roll Arcana / ask Talithar for any advice on dealing with this thing.
You're supposed to intimidate it away, like be angry. Rawr.
Well, I'm not necessarily the best with words. I spent much of my time studying dwarven history and rocks as opposed to how to persuade.
And at that, Graham pipes up. Yeah, that's what I did. I think.
So I think like Talthar is like knowing enough to know that the ones that Rook and Frizzle were like the trap or like they're going after them. The other ones they kind of okay. We need to deal with this. I think
Rook.
I'm gonna go after them. Yeah.
Rook, as everything's going on, everyone else fades a little bit as Kat steps up, and it was something that Balin said, and she's like, hey, it's a magical item. Maybe use magic, or the know-how of magic.
So I rolled a 9 and an Arcana. I doubt that gets me anything. But once a day I can cast Identify as a ritual without taking the time because of my wizard class. Try that.
Absolutely. That will give you insights into this thing. So you take a moment and just... You reach out and touch this necklace again. That Shu, everyone else who's kind of paused for a second, but Shu is diving into this thing, and then Balin reaches back out again and just immediately gets the sense that this thing will respond to your best abilities. So if you want, it will give advantages because it is a magic item, but it is up to the will of the controller to somehow manage those that they control. But there are certain times and tactics that will be more effective depending on who you are or what they are that you're controlling. Another thing that Balin immediately gets is that this thing is connected to hundreds of not creatures as well. Like there are the monsters that are tethered to this thing that the beholder had pulled together, but there are also so many humanoids. There are many of the what's it called again? The Inquisitor faction, various priests and clerics, wizards even, of sorcerers that are under the thrall of them, but also several mage tower factions are influenced by this. And so you don't always have to go straight at the monstrous. You have those whose nature may not be as monstrous by default.
Okay. So I'd share this information with the party. There's hundreds of souls connected to this network. Some of them not just monsters, but mortals as well. And we can engage with these things in many different ways. It seems to be attuned to let the strengths of the user shine in terms of controlling those under their command. And that we might be able to access those mages and inquisitors who are attuned to this as well.
Eli, are you able to cast suggestion?
I could, but I was gonna tell you maybe you could just tell them to be like, be still or leave, just like a general command until we figure out whatever else is here.
Yeah, it's just that we got 2 hordes of Kraken coming at us. We should deal with that, and then maybe think about dealing with the humanoids.
Well, like if you tell everyone to leave, or like everyone to be still, it might be easier to shout from a megaphone than to just target people individually.
I'm thinking, though, this thing is magic. If you're able to cast suggestion to leave, you'd be able to affect everybody.
I'll give it a go.
So before that happens, like simultaneously to Graham getting pulled away and sort of the start of this conversation, Shu had grabbed the command crystals with the intent of basically just force them, whatever presence, because Shu wasn't aware really exactly what was going on, to let go of Graham. Like, in this moment of the, like, TV version of this, we, the audience, know that Graham has already been pulled off, and it's fine, but Shu does not. Shu is, like, tunnel visioned on, this thing is controlling Graham, I'm going to push back against that, right? So they grab this and immediately start to like focus on the crystals and whatever force Graham was interacting with, right? I imagine that they are able to sort of manifest this, the intellect of this Kraken. And as a monster hunter, this is not something they're like, I'm going to reason with this and tell it to leave, right? This is a purely and tactically, it's very analytical, right? It's like, I'm going to focus on the magic of this item to try to like directly control this, right? Like just no circumventing the concept, just straight in. But they do think about their monster hunting knowledge and the fact that like they've literally like dissected Kraken, right? Like they are tunneling magically into the brain in a very specific and targeted way. Like this is the part of the brain I need to magically affect, and that is what they're aiming for, and they are just going.
Yeah, but I think you'd have to be let in. You're not attuned, so like just as the others, you'd have to be let in.
Well, Talithar, do you want to let Shu in?
Nope. Not at this time, like, trying to figure things out. So if Shu is trying to forcibly, in just a moment, do something,
yeah.
And I was like, well, everyone hold on, like, I don't need... Because in Talithar's brain, it's like, okay, well, this didn't go well. I let a whole bunch of people in, and, like, we're, like, 1 for 3. So,
do you have that conscious thought in the moment that happened, like, 5 seconds ago, or is that happening, like... after, or does it matter? Right, it may not. I don't know how they.
It's just a reaction that's like, okay, we just need to hold on and try to figure this out because we're all getting hurt. Now we have 2 hordes.
Shu sees what's going on, sees these Kraken coming down towards, and sees Graham, and then suddenly Graham disappears as the contact is broken. Okay. And Talithar, you still are in control of this magical item. It is yours. It is attuned to you.
That makes sense.
And in that moment, as Shu takes it in and begins to analyze the monsters as they come down, Talithar kind of mentally puts out their arm like, wait. So you can't take effect on these beings through this right now, Shu, but you do get an insight into them. And you definitely see you see them and you see the audience of it all. You can sense the beings, all the monsters you ever hunted, and the humanoids, and the monstrous humanoids, and so on. So you can sense it all through it, but Talithar is currently stopping you from outputting.
And it's only because Talithar is like, he's listening to Balin, and he's like, wait a minute, Balin, that's great. We can cast magic through this. Elias, if you cast suggestion, instead of us having to intimidate and suffer throughout each of this, you might be able to cast a suggestion that'll affect everybody to stop attacking and to go back where they came from, and then we can sort out the minutia. I think that will work better.
I think that's a great plan. Say like go home, because then you don't end up having like citizens walk into the ocean or anything.
Yeah, go back to where you. Yeah, go back to your. Go back
I was
to your
busy thinking about the wording of that.
Yeah, exactly. Go go back
And have
home.
it as well. We'll just walk down to off the pier.
Right, exactly. So that'll get rid of almost all, like that'll get rid of pretty much all the monsters, and then the humanoids we can figure out because they're at home.
So Eli's gonna give it a go, if that's possible.
Okay, so I'm gonna get you to spend the spell slot to cast Suggestion. I'm gonna count this because of the magical item. You only have to target the one thing. And I'm gonna get you to roll Arcana.
Is it with advantage by chance?
Oh, it is definitely with advantage.
Cool. That's a 32.
Excellent. Mental high five to Talther and Elias.
Okay. That is so damn powerful. So what sentence do you want to send out to everyone who is connected to this magical item?
Return and stay home.
Stop attacking and return and stay home.
All right, return and stay home. Just ripples out. And it's actually interesting because as Talithar kind of pushes everyone except Elias off of this thing, Shu, you're reluctant to let go. Your hand brushes back, hoping to face with this monster. And as Talithar breaks the connection between you and it, you get a little hint of this suggestion, and for a moment you take a step instinctively in the direction of your ship. And then you're like, wait, that didn't affect me. But everything, the rock stops shaking for a moment. Everything goes calm and still. And then you get the sense of movement in your mind, these beings beginning to respond to this suggestion, compelled to go on their way. Yes, rethink your life. So you take a breath, and the rocks stop falling. Isolde, Gex, I need you to do a perception check for me. Everyone else has been rather involved, so the two of you have been keeping yourselves a bit away.
13.
Isolde, you don't notice much because you're still keeping an eye on that tunnel where you know that beholder is. And this is not in that direction. Gex, how'd you do?
8.
In the stillness and the shaking and all of this going on in the room, it's... Oh, and you know what? You can also roll for Cranky.
I was gonna say.
Cranky, I think, is
In
the
the
only
stillness,
one who isn't
The
involved.
camera pans over to them, and they are alone with their thoughts. And
With the Sphinx.
calmness. Yep. Nothing to distract them.
He also got an 8.
Oh,
Okay, well,
ugh.
whatever.
Okay.
What about, is Brooke
So
involved?
there.
He's not in the thing. Can he roll perception?
Rook was in... He's not immediately involved in this, but he was involved
Yeah.
in the tight circle.
In the previous
It's more
one,
people
yeah.
who are physically a little bit away from all of this.
Fair enough.
And something happens, and you don't know what. Okay. All right. So there's a moment of stillness. You feel like it was successful. What do you want to do?
I turn to Balin and be like, all right, well, I guess at the end of this, if you just disintegrate this thing, everyone's at home, there won't be much danger. Because that would just be like freeing everyone, right?
Yep.
Okay, so it seems like
Oh,
as soon as we leave here, that's the plan.
Yeah, but first things first, let's just do one last bit of cleanup. Talthar is going to try to reach out to those who were controlled from the Mage Tower who were under the influence first. And he wants to free them. Like, he's going to say, because they're probably returning home as well.
Yep.
But he wants to release their shackles, like his brethren, comrades.
All right. You consciously look at this long chain of crystals, and when you will it, you got one hand on it, when you will it to identify those beings that you select, they almost glow slightly in your mind. And one by one, you just tap each one, and the crystal as you release them. And somewhere their crystals crack. I'm sorry, what was that?
Except for Calron. He's the only one.
And your hand hovers over that last one, and you're like, wait a minute.
Wait, this might...
Okay.
Actually, you know what? Oh, man. You know what? No, he's going to release Calron. I know it's a...
This is Talithar. I'm going to get you to do a perception check.
Sure. Talithar's going to do the perception check?
Yeah. But all of your minds are connected. But yeah, Talithar.
As you got sort of brushed away, that gave them the moment to take a step and look over and see that Graham was safe. And
yeah.
I think they just sort of shrugged and go, I'm going to go scout ahead. You seem like you have this handled. And then they're actually going to start heading out. Cut back.
Talithar got a 24.
All right. As your fingers as you contemplate each one and release them, you've been getting little flashes of where they are. People walking down hallways, back towards chambers, back indoors from parapets, and so on. Moving off in the direction of the last command, go home. And then your consciousness brushes against Calron's, and you see the top of the Mage Tower, that chamber in which you were before, with all of those waterfall screens. And you see Calron has recently bamfed in there and is busy talking with a variety of screens, saying, and you overhear with that roll, you overhear a little bit of the conversation as you pause, deciding whether to release them or not. And you catch a little piece of the conversation. And on my order, you will execute. This is the Mage Tower order. These are enemies of the tower, and we need to maintain control. Do you understand? Yes, sir. As a whole bunch of various agents. And you with that roll, you see on the screen, you see the inside of a tavern, and you see 3 people huddled in front of someone wearing robes, clutching this glowing sword. They're like huddled together in this tavern in front of this large towering mage with a glowing blade, who turns towards this and says, "Yes, my liege." One of the other ones, you can see there's this dwarf, a male dwarf and a female dwarf, on their knees in front of this robed figure who's got these magical, almost like magical scythes hovering in front of them and above them, and turns to them and says, "Yes, my liege, we will execute on your order or lack of contact." Like a dwarf couple. You see another. Hold on, I made a list because I'm an asshole. Where's my list? There we go. You see, I don't know. You see a beaten and bruised, just horribly beaten, but still kneeling defiantly on the deck of a ship, and you see a mage standing in front of this turtle. holding this glowing hand towards his face and just ready to plunge it down on this turtle's face. I'm trying to remember if you would recognize Dave Tillman.
Talthar actually has never met Dave Tillman. But
So it's just some turtle to you.
Talthar is not going to free Calron. Talthar is actually going to now control Calron to not cute.
So how are you, like, which skill are you going to employ to force Calron to do your will, knowing that it will likely, it's still a dice roll, but the DC depends on the skill you choose. Also, seeing that magic worked through this via Elias, there is also the ability of this. It's almost like Elias casting the spell allowed you to basically see the button. It's kind of like that meme where you see the button and the guy's like sweating which one to push. It's like, I can try to command you, or I can punish you. So there is a punish option.
There's a punish option on Calron, like
It's
I
one of
can
the
harm
buttons
him?
on any of them. Now
on
that
any of
you're aware that Elias is influencing this magically, you're aware, wait, I can influence this thing to just inflict.
Well, I think the first thing I'm going to do before just straight punishment is I'm actually going to try to persuade Calron. I'll reach out and say, I have attuned to the crystal. You need to stop what you're doing. I'm willing to free you, but you can't go through with this and start executing innocents.
You finally figured out how to use that bubble. Good. As Calron turns and kind of faces you, as it were, but he's never totally turned his back on this wall of screens. Just consider this my insurance policy. You will free me. There are many that would not understand. May think that I have been willing in this year and a half of torment. You understand I couldn't take the chance.
I understand that you were taken against your will, but you cannot execute these people. I saw enough to know that they're not really our enemies. So delay your order. We'll work out a way and I will work out a way to free you of this.
And you will allow me safe passage wherever I wish to go.
For that which is in my power, don't control the rest of the Mage Tower, you know that. But if it means I stay my hand, I'm willing to do that.
I'm going to get you to roll a persuasion check.
Okay. With advantage or without advantage?
You both have an ace up your sleeve. He's got civilians that he seems willing to use against.
Oh, okay.
And
Can
you've got
Eli,
this device.
Eli help via the necklace.
I'm going to say, because it's more interesting, in this moment, do you choose to share all of this, Talithar? Or are you going to kind of keep it off to itself?
I'd be sharing with Elias. We've been kind of
with everybody or Elias?
You know what? I'll share this with them.
Okay.
So when it comes to the conversation with Calron, I will share this with everyone so they know what's going on.
in the room, as it were.
Yeah.
So you can all influence this and say what you want.
So
The
maybe
very
at this
first
point,
thing that happens is, as you all kind of take in the room and look about, you hear a couple of gasps here and there, and you hear Hilda inhale sharply. Those who knew Dave Tillman, the turtle, immediately recognize him as one of the hostages. Gex, you haven't seen her in a while. And the years have always been kind to her. You see your ex. I believe her name was Tanya?
Oh,
You're muted.
you're on mute.
Oh, you mean Tammy?
Tammy.
One of the
That was, I knew it was a
Tammys.
T. That's pretty good for no nuts.
Yeah.
So you see Tammy and two of your kids, now grown, but they're huddled in the corner of the inn under threat, collected by the Mage Tower agents. Hilda, after her sharp intake of breath, says, "Mom? Dad?" And now you can all see the, like, University of Tazvarel t-shirts that they probably picked up in the gift shop, and they both, and like the dad's carrying a little penny. What do you want to do?
So I think the others heard, like, I am willing to not raise my hand against you if you let the innocents go. And you will be freed as well once we've secured the city of the invaders and the inquisitors. You'll be free. You'll have safe passage, at least from me. That's the best I can do for you.
And what assurances do I have that none of you will think this was personal? You
It is
understand.
personal. It is
Business.
personal, but you haven't, well, you've made it personal, but you haven't finished it yet. Any of those people, and I think Talathar will intuit that they're friends and family of people here. If you do go through with it, nothing will save you from us.
All right. Rook, go ahead and roll persuasion, please.
Talathar is going to roll persuasion.
Oh, sorry,
Sure.
Talathar. Unless Rook wants
Straight
to help
roll?
somehow. Unless somebody wants to help somehow.
I mean, I think, like, you know what? If you're not going to give it advantage, can Rook try to do knowledge from his? He's running out, but one more knowledge of the past life to try to actually help out Talathar because they're connected. If not, that's fine. But
Rook, is Rook trained in Arcana?
Rook is trained in Arcana because he's got the special proficiency, and it's still remained in Arcana. So he
Sure.
would probably try to get Cat to try to. Oh, I study a lot of Elvish, like, when it comes to kind of ancient oaths and bonds and agreements, and try to help Talathar with, like, making this kind of on the up and up.
All right. Anybody else want to help out? So you will get
Yeah.
knowledge of a past life. Just that, though, not the actual D20.
Yeah.
So I think we need help on Arcana, right? Balin can help with that.
Sure.
And Eli.
Sure. Both of you can team up. Go ahead and roll your Arcana.
Okay.
Shoot.
Balin, roll Arcana.
Oh,
Okay,
you've
go ahead.
scouted ahead. Okay, Shu, we'll come back to you.
I'm head off, yeah, and also as a player, I'm letting you have your scene, right?
Yep.
I'm doing my best to stay quiet here.
Gex, Isolde,
19.
Hilda. Wait, Timothy's not here.
Okay. Balin, did you roll? Damn.
Brandon's been saving that one up. Wow. Wow. That's a nat 20 for a total of
33.
Right.
All right. And Balin, how'd you do?
19.
That ain't bad. I mean, it's not a nat 20, but it ain't bad. And Rook, what'd you get on the knowledge of a past life?
So I'm going to roll for Talthar with knowledge of the past life then.
Yeah. Persuasion, I believe.
29. 16 plus 5 plus 8, 29.
And the 33 backing you and the 19. You see Calrun waver. It's hard to read this old elf, but you can see that he's been holding on to this terrifying fear that someone has something hanging over him. And in that moment, you see the sweat, you see the lip quiver, and you see the shoulders just holding themselves together in this moment, and then the collapse. As the proud former Mage Tower head crumples to their knees. No one would believe me, but I tried, just couldn't. That creature, for so long, never stopping. Never a moment's rest. The eyes, always. Yes. Of course. I did such terrible things for that being. Each choice chipped away at what I was. And I know no one... Sorry. Yes. You lot. And he turns to the screens. Release them. You hear a chorus of, yes, sir, yes, sir. And you see the dwarf couple get up, the magical binds dropping away, and they walk out of frame. You see Tammy and the two they're not children, obviously. They get up and they leave, flee the area, and you see the mage begin to head off the other way. And all of them, one by one, begin to kind of move off into their own, and Calron kind of waves their hand, and it's just waterfalls again. Calron turns back to Talithar. I am sorry. I have failed. I am at your mercy.
Go, Calron. Go away. Free to go. And when you've left, I'll destroy this last crystal and you'll be free. For real.
I will tell you that I will hunt that monster with my every last breath. I will hunt that being.
And find redemption in that.
And you touch the crystal that is Calron's. And slowly the crack goes through it, and then it shatters. So, Strange Acquaintances. The immediate threats are over. Slowly. Well, Yeah, actually, the suggestion, the Kraken head back to sea. The various monsters that were once controlled go back on their way. The Reapers abide by the order of things again. And you are all free as well. You can go home. You can continue below to this, seeking this maniacal beholder below, or anything else that fits your liking. What do you want to do?
Gex is going to go over to Rook and have kind of pull him aside. Far enough that they can at least whisper to each other.
Rook is just gonna hand sign him like, okay.
Are you, where do you plan on going from here?
You saw the dead bodies back there. My friends and our people in the undertow. Angel and Cat and the others, their spirits are with me. But they were taken, and there's something left undone below. This thing is still gonna hunt me. You saw why it took both of us. I can't just walk away. This is not something I think I can walk away from. I'd like to. Army would really like to. But I don't think this is something that I could turn away from. You know what I mean?
I do. I can see it in you.
I can't expect you or the others, if this threat is done, I can't expect everyone to come. But I need to stay.
Well, I'm torn. You see, we have some history, and part of being an adventurer is looking for a glorious death in a way. Part of getting older is that you value the time you have left. So if I thought it could actually make a difference, I would jump to come with you, but I don't know that I can anymore. And for an old man, there comes a time when you have to decide when to get off the ship, so to speak, and it seems like there's never a good time. There's never a good time to walk away. There's never a good time to go retire in that log cabin by the lake. So it's going to have to be now. But I feel a little less guilty about it, seeing that you have quite a menagerie of friends around you now. You have, our party seems to have tripled since we first set out on that boat together. Or, well, since I thought it was us being together, you know what I mean. Since that magic shop, anyway.
I hear you. And I'm glad to call you friend.
If you ever need to find me, I'll be in that place where we put that thing that time.
Got it.
And I'm glad to have called you a friend as well. So Gex will turn away and walk over to Isolde and kind of hold out his hand and say, "You ready?"
And I'll just kind of look over at Rook and be like, no hard feelings.
Not at all.
Take his hand and...
And so Gex will look down at her and say, last time we were in port, I saw this really interesting poster on the wall of the tavern. Something about a daddy-daughter dance. Thought maybe might be a good thing to go check out.
Lead the way.
Okay. And they will leave.
And you wind your way up through the tunnels. On your way, almost the same path that several people are taking, following the advice. Go home. Wherever that means home is for the two of you, being essentially homeless adventurers. But you're off to find or make a home. Hilda turns to the rest of you and says, "Oh, I gotta go find my parents. I mean, that looked like the old dorms, so I'm gonna go check. Does anybody need healing before I go?"
Balthazar's like, yeah.
And she
Yeah,
gives
your friend Graham really choked the crap out of me.
Oh, and Balin, yeah.
I can probably heal one of you well or both of you poorly. You pick. Again, not my fault. I blame the giant tentacle beast.
Heal Balin. Heal Balin. I still have a little juice left.
Alright, she gives you 30 hit points.
All right, on.
I gotta save a little in the tank. Just in case my parents need some proof that I can heal. I gotta go.
Here, 1 second. I want to make one of my little stone crafts for Hilda.
Sure.
And on it says world's #1 doctor. And on it says like University of Illifarn or something like that, you know. She did a exchange program.
Honorary degree.
Yeah, honorary degree.
Nice. That's awesome. I love the laughs. All right. Thank you, Steve. All right. And thank you, Matt. Okay. So Hilda scrambles off, kind of calling after Gex and Isolde. Wait. I'll go with you out at least to the end of the monsters. She goes. The rest of you, what are you going to do? Frizzle? We've got Elias. We got Graham. We got Shu. We got Rook. And Talithar still, actually.
Okay, so Eli's gonna go up to Rook and says, "Well, there's still one missing piece of the puzzle, right?"
Yeah.
And he looks over at Talithar and he looks back at Rook and he just like, I feel like maybe the choice is your thing to do. That's to Rook.
Yeah. Rook nods. I think it is.
And as much as I want to help, I don't think I can at this point. I mean, if you want me to stay for moral support, I could. But, like, I'm not gonna lie. I kind of just want to, go back to my grandma's place for a bit. But if there's a job to be done, there's a job to be done. But...
And in Rook's ear, Cat whispers, Did I hear he speaks to dead creatures? Death creatures?
Yeah, he can speak to you, probably.
Not me. Those that harvest, those like me.
Yeah, you could probably do that too. So, out of game, you mean like the other people who were killed, or those that harvest the dead?
The Reapers.
The Reapers, yeah. Yeah, you can speak to them.
And then Angel pops up. I mean, they never talk to me. I'm stuck here. No offense, Rook.
That's why I'm still here, to get you guys free. Maybe this choice will do it. Rook is gonna look at everyone, and I think he's just gonna nod at them, say, I think maybe this next part I need to go alone.
Well, Rook, you're a good friend to my cousin Torig. You know, you helped him escape. This beholder played a direct role in his enslavement. You know, if you need assistance, you have my axe. But if you'd rather go alone, I understand.
Thank you, but I think you should stick with Alethar for now. He still has this very powerful amulet, and he's going to need to take it back to safety. Figure out all the creatures and souls, how to unmess it, clean it up.
Okay, then. Well, I wish you luck, and I'll make sure this amulet is taken care of.
Thanks.
Now, wait, was it Balin? Yeah, Balin cast Identify on it and rocked it, right?
Yeah. So between
So
Elias and Balin,
Yeah, between the two of them. I'm assuming they're going to escort Talithar then, Elias, if you want, or you can go with Rook. It's your choice.
I think Eli's gonna go with Talithar. But
Okay.
before he does, he's gonna make sure that, because he's still psychically linked to everybody. So he's gonna first of all tell Shu everything that's going on, because next thing you know, he comes back.
But
Okay.
whatever.
Yeah.
I'm kind of okay not knowing stuff. I sort of drifted off, and as a player, I want to say, loving everyone's outros. They're great. It's a shame I'm not playing a character who really is invested in everyone else. So I'm happy sort of being
Shu's
off
gone
and
below
out.
to hunt monsters. This is what Shu does.
Yeah.
Eli just wants him to let him know that when he comes back and he doesn't see people there, not to be surprised. Yeah.
It's
Leaves a note. All right.
cool.
So Talithar
And
and,
he's
the
also-
wizards begin to make their way up, back to put the pieces back together. Out of curiosity, what does everybody want to do with this necklace? Are you going to keep it? Are you going to just wreck the whole thing?
Oh, Talthar intends to keep it because, one, to wreck it, you could hurt yourself, as he found out. Two, it has all the mages of the Inquisitors. He wants to basically free them, but not just boom, you're free, but make sure that they're safe. So he's going to use it strategically to screw over the Inquisition.
Fair enough.
And then with the monsters, some where it makes sense to free them, some to figure out what to do. In the moment, it's hard to do because there's so many of them.
Fair enough.
But basically, this is the biggest asset for the Mage Tower right now.
So you're going to take that back up to your old pal Torig.
Yeah, basically.
Figure- Put the pieces back together. Nice. All right.
Yeah.
If all else fails, I'm pretty sure Balin's happy to disintegrate it.
Yeah.
Disintegrate, shatter, counter.
Yeah, exactly. That's the last
yeah.
resort if we really need to get rid of it quick, do it. Yeah.
And you all leave to your various destinations. and the tomb is still and quiet again, the way it has been for centuries. And after a long time, the stillness is broken.
So, your friends are leaving.
Yes.
Parents. There?
Sorry, I didn't understand what you just said.
The Sphinx turns and talks to the bear after a
Oh.
like a really long sit. And the camera pans in on Cranky. What does Cranky do in this moment? As this ancient being it have just been sitting, sharing and breathing that silence.
So everyone's gone from the next the room out there, right?
Oh yeah.
Except for Rook.
No, Rook I assumed I'm gonna say is gonna head out to the tunnel downwards, right?
No, Rook is going to the choice.
Oh.
Rook
How
is
does he
going-
get to the choice again? Through the
Into the
Sphinx?
gonna
room
take
that
him.
the Sphinx is there.
Okay.
Okay.
So we probably see Rook walk in, right, with this scene.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah.
like Rook is
So-
gonna go for the choice.
Cranky. Actually, hold on one sec. This is the beauty of doing this over the internet. I'm gonna deafen you there for a moment, Gordon. So it's not broken. I'm intentionally making it so you can't hear.
Oh my gosh.
Okay. So, Cranky. In the way that beings communicate non-verbally, oh, actually, the other thing can speak. And in Sphinx, it has informed you of several things. Now, I know the voice changer can kind of mangle things a few times, so I want to be careful that the meaning doesn't get lost. And in its way, the Sphinx says something to the effect of, "You know that your friend can never leave this place, right?"
And shrugs.
That underbeing is tethered to this place. Out of it now. If it is alone to leave, I fear for the world.
So at that point, Cranky will just kind of like take it. He'll throw his pole arm kind of over his shoulder, and he'll pull his neck back and just take a paw and lift up his fur. And what you see is a collar around his neck with a couple of links on it. The last one is broken. And then he turns around and just watches Rook come in. And will kind of sniff the air as Rook comes in.
As Rook comes in, the Sphinx nods appreciatively towards Cranky and says out loud,
"First new message.
Let me. If I get your meaning, thank you. But this,
and it pulls on the chain that ties it to this tomb.
this is my choice and my payment. That I would keep the rest of the world safe from what was below. Even if you could, I would choose not to leave. But your offer, is very appreciated. Ah, yes. Great one. What is it you want?
As Rook walks in, he calls you the Gray One.
You gotta undeafen him.
Oh, right. Yeah, thank you.
Because
I'm
he
glad
didn't
somebody's
hear
paying
that.
attention. All right, as Rook walks in, the Sphinx says, I cannot leave, nor would I choose to. Ah, yes, Gray One. What can I do for you?
I'm here to be taken to the choice.
The choice it is. May you choose wisely, as many before you have done.
And a magical portal opens up on the opposite side of the room. Like a ringed in purple fire. Hold on, colors matter here. Ringed in, yeah, let's say kind of a dark purple fire. A circular portal.
Okay. Is like Cranky still around, or did he peace
Yeah,
out
he's
as well?
standing there in the corner, just looking at you, holding his halberd.
Okay. I'll just kind of look at him. I'll give him a nod.
And he, Cranky will just kind of come up and stand beside him, and just sort of look down and nod at him.
And then, like, Rook will just quietly walk away and head towards the portal.
All right.
Cranky will
You
follow
step-
him. He's
Cranky goes
legit he's gonna follow him.
in. Absolutely.
Wow. Okay.
Okay. I love that he didn't like axe. Quick question for you, Shu. You've been skulking around. You see everyone else leave. You can you're aware.
I'm aware about that. All right.
You come back and you see Graham standing there, in the room, pretty much the only one left. And you are aware that
Did Graham not leave?
looked-
Graham didn't leave.
Graham didn't leave. And as Rook goes in, Graham points towards the hole, towards the Sphinx, and says, yeah, the little guy went in there.
Just us then. I guess maybe actually I would look over and see. Actually, do I see Cranky Bear? Or?
Like old times. Quick question for, I see Bella's still there. Did Frizzle leave?
She hasn't yet.
Okay.
She is, I would assume she would very likely probably go with Balin
Cool.
Okay.
to kind of finish that off and then go back home.
Fair enough. All right, so she has left then with the others, although you might want to say, you have a minute, you've known Shu and Graham for a while, so you might say your goodbyes. But
Yeah, of course.
Sure. Yeah, if I've like scouted out and came back by the time before you've left, sure.
Shu knows that there are lots of room, there's tunnels and traps and like long hallways. That's about as far as you got before you decided to check in.
I couldn't very well leave a monster. Let one get away, as it were. Took it down, and we finished the job.
I have a feeling Rook will take care of that.
Perhaps. But we thought it was dead once.
Shu, you got that awareness of that being, and you saw those chambers with all the rows of essentially clay eggs ready to be used again. You're gonna need something to take it down, but it won't necessarily be easy. It might not be the hardest thing in the world either, but I mean, it is just a beholder, and at that, it's actually younger than it was, so it's not as terrifying as it might be. Although knowledge is power, so who knows what tricks and traps it's got in its employ. Rook has gone into the room with the Sphinx.
Yeah.
You can choose to head that way with Graham, and Graham will go with you, or you can go back into the tunnels you just scouted. Do you trust?
I may not have a lot at stake here, but I have my pride. Good luck out there. That's to Frizzle. Frizzle indicated leaving, right? So
yeah.
Graham?
One more time.
Clasp, the cool arm clasp thing that people do.
People and half-orcs.
Yeah.
It's the half-orc secret handshake. And you both head in after Rook or down the tunnel you scouted?
Down the tunnel.
All right, the two of you go down to, let's break some eggs.
At least one of us should make it out. Well, secure the quarry. You know what I meant to say. Yeah. Pretend I said it correct the first time. She did.
All right. And Rook and the silent bugbear step through into the choice. And I think we are going to cut to that after a word from our sponsors. Those who want to bounce, we can assume that there are lots of traps and troubles down below for the Monster Hunter pair. Whether they can take down the Beholder by themselves, well, that remains to be seen. Maybe another season.
We all walk off into the sunset in our own ways.
Exactly. If you want to have a scene of what happens next in the choice, we can. But first thing is a word from our sponsor, right, Steve?
Got a mid-roll.
No, this week's sponsor, I foreshadowed it a bit. So, we actually have a radio spot from an event that is taking place in a couple of weeks. So, here it is. So, in a fortnight from today, in the light of the full moon, come and dance in the shadows. Be ready to fight, gathering together for the synth and the might. Let the sign of the strobe light be your guide and lead you to Saturday night. Our techno is voodoo, for a cult of the damned that is true, for a disco inferno without a cue, where gates of hell are open to you. Wave your hands in the grave, at the beat to the beat of the rave. Wave your hands from the grave to the beat of the rave. Our Sabbath will be pumping that night. Zombie corpses will respawn. Zumba corpses will party till dawn. In the dance of the dead, if your names are in the Necronomicon, you get a drink and a burial coupon. Dress codes will be checked at the door. The code word is Klaatu Barata Nikto. Come down to the deadly daddy-daughter deadly disco dance of death and sell your soul to the dealer. Be part of the fever until the Ellis demons arise. Follow the Reaper because the dead can never say no. Tickets for the daddy-daughter deadly daddy disco dance of death can be purchased at your local Shoppers Drug Mart.
Wow.
Wow.
Nicely done, sir. I don't even know how you managed to say that sentence.
Wow. I screwed that up, but whatever.
That's all good. I appreciate that.
I can't read my own writing. That's part of the problem. But come on, the title, the deadly daddy daughter deadly disco dance of death. You got to go to that.
Absolutely, like that. I mean, that would be at least where you go on Halloween. Yeah. 100%. Nice job. All right, so I have a question for you. We are at our usual quitting time. I'm willing to go a little bit longer if you want to figure out what happens, or we can come back to this, or we can just pretend we know what happens to our poor friends who've gone into the choice.
Well, maybe it could be like everything on Netflix. You hope there's a season 2.
I mean, there's still monster hunting to happen, and there's some kind of big choice that's going to happen.
How long will the choice make? Like this thing? Is it like a 10-minute thing, or is it like a?
At very least, we need an after the credits scene of appearing there. Whether or not we play out anything more than that, I think is up to you.
All right.
Okay.
So,
all right.
I'll even drag it over so we can see the visuals. Just 1 second. I gotta figure out which map it was again. Hold on. God damn it. All right. So, as you step through this magical portal, I'll choose there for some reason. I'll take you out of there. Cranky just a step behind. Kind of. Oh wait, Grandma didn't.
God, however you set the lighting, I don't get it. I don't get light. Yeah.
I see that. Hold on. Just let me see if I can fix it.
Just turn it off.
All right, we'll be back after just a moment. Technical difficulties. It is off.
No, all I see is a black screen.
Oh, I saw something flash and then it's black.
Okay,
Yeah.
one sec. Yeah, it's gonna work this time. I swear to God. We're still on, by the way. Okay.
Oh, I see. Okay,
All
I
right,
see it.
All right.
All right, purple.
Oh, there it is in the corner. Okay.
And
Sure.
I don't have Rook here, so do you want to drag yourself in there, Rook?
Sure.
All right. And we're back. So you are in a chamber. You're not sure exactly how far you are from Tazrel. This seems ancient, mostly intact. Behind you, there's actually two. There's these stairs, and you actually come in at the top of these stairs. They're descending down. You look behind you, and there's the flickering outline of the portal through which you step fades as Cranky steps through after Rook, and all you are left with is a blank stone wall behind you. You may not head back that way. In front of you, you see almost an ethereal view of the Sphinx chained to the wall, off to one side in this semicircle of a room. You take a few steps down the stairs, careful to mind for traps as you go. Cranky a few steps behind. Rook can see 3 portals, clear and obvious, glowing in magical firelight. On your left, like an orange and red flame, circle. On the right, almost like a fuchsia purple, flickering. Straight ahead, in a greenish flame, flickering. And the Sphinx at the side, in front. The choice is yours. You may choose from the orange flickering flame of life, but you must pay death. You may grant a life to any, but there must be a life in exchange. A willing one. At least one of you must be willing. On the other side, the purple, the flames of death. You may take a life, but give one in exchange. This room has many choices, but for those who cannot choose, there are others. And the Sphinx motions towards the greenish flickering flame, and you see through it, back almost like you see the flickering outline of a hallway through that portal. This is the neither. You choose neither life nor death, but continue on your current path. Or forge your own way. These are the choices.
My friends, they're still with me, but they're dead, but still with me. Will one of these doorways set their spirits free?
In their way, 2 of these doors will lead to their release. Or at least could. But the path you are on, of neither, they will not cross. If that is the way you choose.
Choose a doorway that will allow them to cross.
There are many. There are 3. In that moment, Cat kind of tugs on your sleeve. Look with the trained eye, you idiot. There is more here than meets the eye.
I'm gonna listen to her and investigate, like, what she means.
Roll investigation.
Okay. Not the greatest with investigation, but all right. Eh, 10.
You can get your past life bump on that if you want.
Oh.
Because Cat is
Okay.
assisting. Out of curiosity, Cranky, go ahead
15.
and roll a perception check just to see what you notice. 15.
And Rook is also going to be perceptive, but I think in the moment he's going
It's
to
more of an
investigate. But he's
investigation. Yeah.
Yeah.
Out of curiosity, before anything else happens, what does Cranky notice with their perception check? Whoa, 21. Cranky, you've spent some time getting to know this Sphinx. More than your friends. You read its body language now, pretty proficiently. Its left paw is outstretched in an awkward way, a little bit closer to the center of the room, as though in the way that someone might keep their hand close to something that they care about, something that they're protecting or worried about. It weighs something in the very center of this room is weighing heavily on the mind of the Sphinx. With a 21, you also notice the chain tether that goes from the Sphinx to the wall is still there, but it is significantly longer than the chain that was in the other room. It is long enough that that Sphinx could probably pace around this entire room without it being totally taut. It has more freedom of movement than before.
So it's
Your eye-
hiding something under its left paw.
It does move its paw slightly. There's nothing immediately under it. It's just that left paw, which is the closest towards the middle of the room, is subconsciously protecting something that is hidden from plain view in the middle of this room. And you look at the room, and it just looks like clear, smooth stone, maybe a couple scratches here and there. Let's cut back to Rook for a moment. You got a 15. With Kat's help, you see these tiles, some of them cracked with age. You look around the room. There's a couple of things here, there. You see the magical chain. You see the Sphinx. I'm going to actually retcon that it's not ethereal. It's physically in the room. It was ethereal for a moment and then faded in. And then you see a rune. There is a large stone that has fallen just in the middle of this room, a little bit left of middle. And it seems to be... It seems that the stone is a little bit... It's almost like a video game where they didn't code it quite right, and the stone is kind of glitching through a piece of tile. It's as though there's a slight glitch with that stone, as though it has fallen and part of it isn't quite in alignment with the rest of it. This stone in the very center. Or, well, just left of center.
Okay, Rook is going to approach it quietly. And he's going to actually just sense for any traps or like secret doors, right? Like a perception check to see if he's like perceiving anything that's weird, like a magic trap, a magic door, a precious object, another circle, a magic rune.
All right, go ahead and
spell.
do either perception or investigation. And you're so busy watching the room, but Cranky, with each step that Rook takes towards the middle of this room, the Sphinx looks more and more nervous. Its hackles raising. If it had fur other than the metallic stone of it, it would be rising on its
Terrible
as
roll.
as it's getting. As you rolled a 1, a natural
12,
1
yeah.
for a total of
Yep.
12. Now, of course, you're a rogue, you get to take 10, but it's still a 1.
Oh yeah. I get to take 10. You're right. So
So that's
I'll
a 21,
take,
but it's still a
21.
nat 1, and I'm making notice of that. You
Okay.
walk forward, and everything... No, it does kind of work in this case.
Oh, you know
It's-
what? That
it's
investigation would have been a bit higher then too, right? I
that's
messed
true.
that up. That would have been a 10, 15. That would have been a 20.
You,
But anyways,
as you get a little bit closer, you focus on this stone and the slight misalignment as though something is there, something out of sync. And as you kind of change angles, you see the flicker of a rune. There is a magical enchantment, and this stone is somewhat, very slightly interrupting it. There is something in the middle of this room. And as you think that, you can see these trails of runes just kind of coming out from that, like a slight little pulse or glitch, going in an ever so dim circle in the middle of this room. It's about the same width as the other circles, the other portals in this space.
So when Cranky sees him getting close or approaching that, he'll kind of catch up, and he'll catch up and just kind of point his halberd at the spot. Like hold, like kind of slow down a second, indicating like put a hand in front of him, pointing at it with the tip of the halberd.
Okay. So you're
And
both
then as soon as he sees Rook give his attention to that, like if he thinks Rook knows what he's talking about,
yeah,
he's going to walk over to the Sphinx.
sure. So Rook, you bend down, and it's weird. You step into this circle, like you kind of stick your hand out. Nothing gives any resistance. You can see, because of your training, because of Cat, you can see the space where this something magical is in effect. And this stone is kind of giving it away in this moment. And you focus on that for a second, and you're seeing in the midst of this, Cranky kind of points towards it in their way and then walks around, kind of flanking around the outside of this circle to the left. What do you want to do, Rook?
I'm gonna take a moment to study it. Like, if there's any arcana that I can understand what the circle is supposed to be. Is it another portal? If I move the stone, will it enact?
Oh, this is probably a 8-foot semicircular boulder, spherical. Like, you're not moving this thing, but it.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's pretty huge. But I mean, maybe with Cranky's help, you could shift it.
Yeah.
But you know, even all your friends are there with you, looking at this space, and Angel's sitting in the corner like, I'm sorry, I can't see anything. And Cat's like, no, you gotta look at it just this way. So, Cranky, as you get really close to the Sphinx, it not purrs, but it vocalizes this quiet sound that almost sounds like a growl. I have guarded this tomb for hundreds of years. I am honor-bound to present a choice. But I implore you, do not let him choose that.
So they'll approach him to the point where he can touch him.
Yeah.
And just put a paw on his shoulder and kind of pat him, like, comfortingly.
The message soothes this Sphinx.
And he'll turn around and just kind of watch. It's like, chill out. It's okay. And watch what Rook is doing.
Rook, do an Arcana check for me. You can add Cat's benefit. And advantage. You know something's there, you're just not sure how to unwind it.
Okay. Let me just roll the d20s. Okay, so equals 14, 1d6 plus 14 plus... Oh, jeez. $23.
23. There. And no, lower. Right there. Scratch that. And you pull out your dagger. And where the rune is kind of pinched by the stone, you scratch across it, ruining that part of the enchantment. And as though it's just unravels in front of you, just... Now, you could pass right through before, but now you see a slightly raised platform of a step up, and your hand no longer passing through it. And in the center of this, you see beautifully carved in the floor this runic circle and another portal flickering in the base of this, facing directly downwards.
Where does this go? Outside of the...
It is the choice. Best left unchosen. It is the other. Neither
what
life,
is the other?
nor death, nor neither. It is both. And only fools would choose it.
I'm already neither alive nor dead. Can I get an insight check into kind of like why he doesn't want me to choose that one? Is
Sure.
it like
Go ahead and roll insight.
Is it like something that's blasphemous or something?
There have been multiple really good, just like musical climaxes and being like, yeah, cut. But no, it's really good. Oh well, missed it.
I'd like
21.
to thank my DJ Random. 21. In this moment, you've been so focused on unraveling this puzzle that only now do you take a closer look at the Sphinx. It has gathered itself. It is ready to pounce. It stands ready to attack you. You want to say something, Steve?
Does Cranky sense that he's ready to attack?
Oh, yeah.
I feel like with a hand on he would. So he just kind of pushes a little, not like to hurt, but just to like, okay, feel me more.
Mm-hmm.
And then bends over and with a claw scratches something on the kind of in the dust and debris. Yeah. Writes something.
All right. Cranky's being cranky right now, but Rook, this Sphinx appears, you are maybe 3-4 feet away from this fourth doorway, and the Sphinx appears to await your choice. You've got options. You can choose neither. You can take a life, you can give a life, or you can choose both. What do you want to do?
This is rough because it's like...
You can ask questions. You don't have to like leave.
Yeah,
you don't have to.
Yeah, I think I noticed the hostility, right? And he's not like. I think what he'll say to the Sphinx is like, "I sense you don't like this choice, and I want you to know I'm not here to seek power. Not here to seek glory. I'm just here to free my friends. So if you can tell me that this door won't help me with that, if you can explain yourself, then we don't have to be at odds over this."
That door leads below.
To the
That
Dark
door
Oracle.
Is the same one the Dark Oracle once chose. You already smell of him. A little piece left behind by an accident far above. But down here, should you choose, you might free him. You might become him. Or you might sidestep him entirely and let your friends stay stuck the way you are. If you
I have
choose
no...
both,
Sorry, go on.
that is the way that the one we refer to as the Dark Oracle, that is the way to follow in his footsteps. And in that moment, out of the corner of your eye, you see Angel kind of pause, look at Cranky, look at the ground, and then begin to like puzzle something out. And he takes out like kind of, I that I had a stick. And he tries drawing in the dirt, and none of the dirt's moving. He's like, gosh, oh, this is so, can't touch anyone. Can't touch anything. The worst part about being dead.
Hold a moment. I don't want to follow in the Dark Oracle's footsteps. And but I'll turn to like Angel. What do you want me to draw? Get him to
I was
guide
going
me.
to write. Look, I had this uncle. He was excellent at making puzzles, wordplay. Something doesn't sit right, and I wanted to play with the words.
Okay, and I just kind of let him take the lead, but do the word puzzle with him as I'm trying to
he
figure this
spells
out.
out in the dust, and you use, the tip of your dagger to kind of draw in the dust a couple feet away from this portal. And he spells out, absolutely, Rook. Cranky's writing something as well. Everybody's drawing in the dirt. And so in a second, as we're going to deal with what Rook does, in a moment, we're going to cut back to what Cranky has said to the Sphinx. But, of course, I'm pretty sure Rook doesn't speak Sphinx.
It's not in Sphinx.
Oh, okay. Okay, well, we'll cut back to that in just 1 second. Actually, you know what? Let's do it now. Cranky, what have you written in the dirt, if you wish to share? What do you want to talk about?
Well, the first thing he wrote was to the Sphinx, which is why he kind of like tried to get his attention to it. And it's well, how do I read it? Eme onleme mirma yare eme pol sil, which would translate to we're only free if we choose to be. And then he writes yes, Nefeme idor valwaina eme lime ter, yes, which roughly translates, it is not the door, but why we go through it.
The Sphinx very audibly sighs and relaxes a little bit. Only a little, but turns towards Cranky with a look and says, "You must forgive me, for I'm used to being the smartest and wisest in the room. Old habits. You are indeed a very wise bear." But you are also here. You chose to come, and you must choose as well. There are 4 doors. Eventually, all but myself will walk through one of them. Probably. It says as it looks back towards Rook with this slight, very slight threat.
Right, and I'm doing the wordplay with Angel.
So, cut back over to
cognizant.
Angel, and Angel has had you write in the dirt, Darker Oracle. And then he's like, okay, let's rearrange that. Starts to rearrange things. I'm going to get you to do an intelligence check. Unless you yourself want to, or anybody else who's very kindly watching, wants to take a guess at what that means, because it doesn't mean the Darker Oracle.
So investigation is rarely used accurately, but this is actually an investigation check, right? That is actually what the things. I mean, feel free to puzzle it out yourself first.
Yeah, you can use investigation for sure.
You
Or
should be
puzzle
allowed
it
to add
yourself.
the prof. Yeah, you shouldn't have to just do a flat roll.
I'm gonna roll these. Yes.
I would agree to that.
Investigation's such a weird thing. It's really kind of a misnomer. It's more of the deduction check, you know? It should be deduction as the skill.
Yeah. Oh!
There it is!
There it is!
There it is.
25. Nat 20.
Had to get one last nat 20 before the game ends.
Had to make one last Nat 20 before the game ends.
And you flick the letters back and forth, and your mind jumbles them fast, and then all of a sudden it clicks into place. Now, I'm curious, has anyone actually figured this out yet?
I wasn't really focused
that's
on
okay.
that. I know it's an anagram.
No, that's all good. So,
No.
Internet, if you figured it out, I will figure out a way to mail you something, and I'm not even joking, but you got to prove it in the next minute. No, you flick the letters back and forth and scribble back and forth, and staring at these various choices, you can choose neither life or death. You can choose both life and death. That's the one on the floor. You can choose to take a life but give a death. You can choose to give a death but take a life. Those are your various options.
Isn't it like the same thing? Like take a life and give a death?
So you could basically assassinate anyone you want, but you have to give up a life, either your own or someone else's. Right? That's the choose a death but give a life. And then there's the give a life. You can bring anybody back, but you have to kill or give up your own life for somebody else's life. That's the life door on the left. On the right is the death door, where you give a life to take a death. Or you know what I mean? They're very similar.
Take a life,
yeah.
but yeah.
And then the one at the back of the room is neither. So that's, you just go home. Or the one on the floor, which is you choose both life and death. At which point the anagram clicks into place. Lord, and it's actually Cat that mutters it. It's like, oh no, the first one's Lord. Okay, Lord, us, and then Angel's like, well, fuck me. And you write in the dust the name, Lord Acerarak. Master Lich of all undead. The Lich, keeper of immortality, feared across the multiverse. This is the path he took. Completed or not. And the Sphinx eyes kind of flash as he sees you realize this. And now you know the path you take. Or could. And now you know why I must never allow you or it to be free in this world. A piece of it. Its phylactery is below. Contained within the now broken crystals. If that phylactery gains but one soul, he will rise at full power again. And the world will fall. And a piece of that phylactery resides in you. But a sliver. What is your... And then the Sphinx kind of flicks its eyes back to Cranky. And it almost says begrudgingly, what is your intention?
Not that. That's not my intention. Follow in that footstep. My intention is as I said it. Just want my friends to be free. The souls that have been bound to me. I want them released.
Then you wish to give life. But the payment is death. And it motions towards the door on your immediate left.
Yeah, the orange one.
Mm-hmm. You may give them life. Or, I suppose, you might grant them death. Or perhaps they, like you, are now tethered to this place. And you may all have to carry on. And it motions towards the neither door at the back. It is possible. It didn't say a life, it said life. Might be plural.
Rook is actually like gonna talk with the others. He's almost like, do you guys really want it? Do you guys want life? Do you guys want death? Do you want to just carry on? Like, he wants to hear from Cat and Angel, and the others. Like, there's a whole bunch of them, right? Like that.
Yeah.
It's mainly
so
those
now
two,
a village.
but there's like
the remains.
There's
of
a
the
village.
Undertow
It's like, hey guys,
literally appears in the room around you.
Do you all want to live? You want to die and be free? You want to just carry on? And
I don't know. I never touched that girl. Like there's all kinds of voices that don't usually piping up right now. But the overwhelming majority seems that they've been dead a while and stuck. Some of them do want life again, and some of them are willing to pass on. It's all right, my time has come. And unfortunately, in this moment, I don't know that you could please them all.
he doesn't need to. I think he's like, he wants to hear from all of them, but like I think it's mainly Cat and Angel. Like, he wants to get
Cat and
sense to they
Angel
want
are busy looking back and forth between the various rooms, doors.
Yeah.
And and the Sphinx points out, there is a way you might grant all those wishes, you know.
Oh.
And its eyes look down towards the both. If you become the king, the ruler of life and death, then you may grant it at your leisure. That is the only way to walk both paths. Or you may stay.
No, I think I know what choice I'm going to make.
And that is when we smash cut. I'm just kidding. End of season. No.
He's going to look at Cranky and just kind of give a respectful nod. And he's going to walk through the orange. And as he's approaching it, he'll just turn back at the Sphinx and just give him just a nod. Farewell. And he walks, like, he's gonna walk through it, and he's gonna give his wishes to kind of give life. Yeah.
For being stuck here is a harder choice. A harder payment. I would know. And in that moment, you can see that the cord, while I said it was longer on the Sphinx, it could get to the doors, but it could never actually go through them. But you can. Rook steps through the door that can give a life while taking another. Cranky, Which door do you want to choose? Just
So
to be
Rook is
clear.
gone now.
Yeah, and that's going to be resolved in just a moment. You can go out the neither door and basically go home. You could try to usurp Lord Acererak himself, or you can assassinate somebody, or you can bring somebody back. Who do you want?
Assassinate Lord Sararak himself. I kind of get the impression that Rook was like wanting to go on his own. You know, so he's only going to follow him like a homeless puppy for so long. He's felt like he's done something useful with calming the Sphinx down a little bit. So he's going to go back through the neither door.
You step through, and in a moment, you're back on the outcroppings overlooking Tazvarel. The city is half devastation. There are a handful of dragons flying above, the remains of a shattered giant tree, many dead bodies, but some living remain there to pick up the pieces. And you're in what was once the remains of the Undertow. And you pick up your halberd and you walk on to what comes next. Rook. What lives?
Any of the voices that, like Angel and Cat, he feels like their lives were robbed of them unfairly. So those that like want, he's gonna give their lives, and if he can, and then in exchange, he'll give his life.
Now, normally, it would be 1 for 1. However, unless you brought fodder with you, in which case you could feed other lives in at your choice and force that to happen. But you did not choose that. You chose the noble path. But there's an ace up your sleeve. You're undead. Of sorts. You're already trapped between. You've lived and died and lived again and died again many times now. And a being with that many chances at life can have that many chances in death as well. You found the loophole, the way to stop. You step through and you die. True death. Gone. The slivers of the necromantic magic embedded within you, tying you to the phylactery of Acererak, shatter, taking a tiny piece of that power with it that had kept reanimating you. But not before you use it to rope back Cat, Angel, and many other voices, all of those who stayed in this space with you. And the Undertow, those who weren't ready to die, they return. And they awaken. And somewhere, Rook knows that out of the mists, bodies of children, mothers, Angel and Cat, many others, begin appearing amongst the ruins. Back in the ruined Undertow, And Cranky very quickly ends up not being the only being, besides a handful of scavengers, in the Undertow, the haunted city. It now lives again. And Rook passes away. And that is where we're going to fade out. Zooming out over the city by the sea, smoke rising above, and this chapter is now finished. Thanks, everybody. I appreciate you hanging in there an extra hour 10, and I appreciate all of the inputs everybody's done. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
I do need a name for tonight's episode. Likely the last of this campaign.
I mean, it's the choice, right?
Choice.
Like, it's gotta be.
Yeah, that's fair. All right. Clutch.
Everyone
All right,
here made a choice. Everybody made a choice.
That's true. It is absolutely true.
A great outros, everyone. I love seeing people like outro their characters. It's something that's really easy to never do, depending on how campaigns end. You know what I mean? And it's gonna be some of the most like poignant roleplay you ever do. It's really cool.
It's interesting. I wasn't sure what people were gonna choose. I honestly, I was like, are they gonna go on a hunt? Like, what's going on? Yeah, voice and the choice. Nice. Voices and choices. I like that. All right. And well, thanks very much, everybody. We're going to play another game at some point. Hopefully, maybe even as early as next week. Brought to you by... The choice brought to you by... Oh, it faded away on me. I didn't see that.
Just gotta open it. Or I'll put it in the other chat.
Thank you. But yeah, so thanks very much, and thank you, listeners, and we'll be back in a week or two with some more games, a new game, one-offs, or a new campaign. I don't know. We'll figure it out. Join us next Tuesday or the one after for figuring that out. And again, it's always a joy to play with everybody here. So thanks so much. And we'll see you again soon. Cheers.
Have a good night.
Good night.